Yeah, we're live, ladies and gentlemen. The Xbox Nation, the one and only Wednesday is upon us once again, and we are here with you. We are spreading like herps. We appreciate it.
Oh.
We are here to bareback you and spread it even more. So look out. Yes, I just said that, and then people are flipped out because this is the podcast at Barebacks. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. We are very appreciative. And thank you guys for joining us. I greatly appreciate it. You guys have been kicking ass lately, all the good comments and views and likes and all that stuff. So make sure you guys hit that like button and whatnot. I'm going to introduce my awesome panel. I've got with me the one and only Mooch. So your Mooch Maniacs can rest assured that you're here this week. What's up, Mooch?
What's up, buddy? I'm sorry. I was just waving the American flag so much today, man. I just couldn't get enough. You've got the Microsoft event today. You got the Apple event tomorrow. It's good to be American. That's all I can say. A lot of innovation comes here. I like the argument I always get from the haters. Like, well, yeah, but the product is made over in wherever. And I'm like, yeah, well, the brain trust is over here, okay? And the consumers are over here. So, no, it's going to be a good show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about with the Microsoft event and the gaming world that's been on fire. And, of course, there's always a little bit of room to make fun of Respawn at the end of the day. So we'll do that today.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a good time.
Absolutely.
And we also have the governor here, GKB. What's up?
What's going on, crap? Yeah, everybody gets to see my face on the console corner. If you guys checked it out, it's a good time. A bit nervous and all that. Ready to talk some crazy topics, man. I saw those topics and I was like, oh, this is going to be a fun show.
You know what's funny is I've been steady adding to the topics. So, like, yeah, some of the topics are just going to be, like, stuff that I'm like, surprise. But, you know, who knows? We never really get to all the topics. But, yeah, you guys did a really good job on Console Corner yesterday. And for those that don't know, yeah, you guys have a really cool setup now. What it reminded me of was you guys like esports announcers. You guys have like the setup there and everything. So, I mean, you guys are just perfectly set up to like call esports. Like, here he comes down the backside. These guys, Frank, yes, and, you know, no good.
Well, it's a community game time one time, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that would be awesome. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that was a fantastic show. Good idea. You guys put in a lot of hard work, and I'm guessing it's going to pay off in a big way. So, really positive reaction. I was checking out some of the comments and stuff. I would love to get positive reactions like that about stuff I do. I'm jealous, you know. And also, your views to like ratio is insane.
Yeah,
I was like, holy crap! Yeah, it was pretty good last night. So, hey, and we got She-Wolf as well. What's up, She-Wolf?
Hey, you know the one thing I love about Wednesdays? It means like your week is halfway over.
Fact.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Unless you're like
well,
me,
unless you work weekends. But.
Yeah, I work weekends, man. Whatever. But how you doing? You guys did a good job last night. I saw a little bit of nerves there, but overall, you guys settled.
Oh my god,
well.
I was like, the night you decide you want to do this, I have to host it.
Yeah,
it's the best time. I don't have to do anything.
I was like, he's like, okay, are we ready to start? I'm like, no. He's like, okay, you got to start. I'm like, no. I was not ready at all. I was just like, no.
Hey, you guys did a good job, though. I mean, that's got to be nerve-wracking. That's why I couldn't be on camera aside from, you know, looking like Shrek. But other than that, I just think
I said you should come one of these times because you only live like an hour or so away, so it wouldn't be hard for you to like come and just like guest star.
I'd have to wear a mask.
It would surprise everybody.
It would, but I think that I don't know. We'll think about that. We'll put that in the maybe pile. But I want to introduce my special guest. We got K Mega. What's up, bro?
What's happening, everybody? It's as Dirty said, K Mega. That's it was funny how you said it. Anyway, man, of course it's good to work with you guys constantly. She-Wolf, you know what I'm saying, Gamers Know Best, man. It's good to work with you guys as well, man. It's an honor to be here as usual, man. And please,
yeah, it's our first time to actually get to be on a show with you, K Mega.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be fun, man. It's awesome, you know. I mean, I've had to deal with you in Titanfall and other games, you know, but so you know, it's cool that you know you might have to deal with me into this podcast, but everything is all good.
Well, I just want to quickly add, I don't mean to cut you off, but congrats on your spot on BGST.
Thank you very much, man. Like I said, man, it's just been a wild ride, man. The love, the hate. Just thank for everybody for the support, man. It's just, you know, for the haters and for the lovers. Well,
them haters are just jealous.
So it's all good. But hey, please, guys, Mooch, crap. no pro mode today.
Oh,
None of that today.
All
None of
right.
that today. Don't
Hey, I have to be honest, dude. Somebody just tweeted me right before I went on air. They're like, "Yo, dude, you gotta say." Hold on, what's he say? Luke Taylor says, "Make sure you say PS4 Pro just gives you a little mo."
Oh my god!
It's so good.
my
It's so
God.
good.
It's like, make sure you say that. So I was like, all right, man, look, when people specifically request it, man, what can I do? You know what I mean? But I appreciate you coming in on kind of short notice and everything, helping out because I'm a little bit shorthanded. So I appreciate it, man.
Hey, no problem, man. Glad to be here.
I want to give our thoughts on Microsoft's press event. We didn't get a lot as far as gaming related. There was a couple little tidbits. They did talk up 4K gaming and things like that. But overall, I think that they're initiating Xbox into like a main focus at Microsoft, which is really good because when you look at the haters, you always have these assholes that are like, man, Microsoft looking to get out of the console business, man. They're done. They hate console gaming. They're leaving. You know what I mean? Despite they were saying they were leaving the console space after they literally just announced 2 new consoles and said Phil Spencer's like, hey, we're already working on the successor to Scorpio too. So nah, you know what I mean? So I like the fact that they are really tech focused and they're really they're really talking up gaming. You know what I mean? It's a big focus to them.
Crap, so let's put it this way, Crap. There's no way anybody can sit there and argue with me on this. Sony saw this today, and even though this was not Xbox centric, Sony shit themselves literally all day long. Microsoft showed the ability to say, okay, we're not just going after Sony. We're going after Twitch, okay? We're going after the fact that Nintendo wants to have a mobile market. We're going to keep putting Xbox on more and more devices. Listen, we've all said, I know we'll have a segment today, I'm sure, on Switch, but hear me out. There's a lot that people have to understand that everybody has a Windows 10 device in one way, shape, form, or another. You have a Windows 10 device. Microsoft is attacking on all fronts. Everyone thinks Microsoft is being gentle and kind and look at the happy-go-lucky, but they're blasting Twitch. They're blasting Sony with Scorpio. They're blasting just even Nintendo already, saying, okay, Nintendo, you want to have your one device that's on the go? How about if I told everybody right now you could play Gears 4 in all your rooms, in all your homes, or across the country with a laptop? My point being is that Microsoft's not being the gentle giant everyone thinks. They're just killing people with a smile. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's it.
I agree.
And they're kicking ass and taking names. And Satya Nadella has to be given credit for this because he's doing it while he's walking softly and smiling and shaking everybody's hand. But as he shakes your hand, he's like, I'm going to kick your ass. I'm kicking your ass. You know what I mean? Like, he's just doing it the right way. Very professional, great businessman. He must have, he learned something from the Apple guys. Sorry about that.
I
Apple
agree.
plug.
For sure.
What did you think, GKB? I mean, did you see what they were showing? What was your thoughts?
Yeah, I watched the whole show actually. I thought it was fantastic, man. I was blown away just from the beginning, like the 3D to everyone, the 3D paint and all that kind of stuff. I was like, wow. But my real big takeaway was actually like the gaming stuff that they were talking about with the, Windows 10. And, I'm a big proponent of Beam. I love Beam.
Yes.
I love the acquisition of that stuff. And now they're integrating that with Windows 10. We talked about this like months when they
and Xbox as well. I mean, it's coming there as well.
It's coming there as well, yeah. And that's going to be freaking awesome. Like we were talking about this like months ago about Beam and what does it mean for Microsoft and all that kind of stuff. And now we're seeing that they're really behind Beam and they're pushing it to integrate it with Windows 10. That's fantastic, and that's going to be great for all kinds of streamers.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, man, that Surface Studio is like, man,
my jaw was dropping. Like I was like, oh, that thing is so beast.
It is, and it's super expensive too. But I like that they're on board. If you look at what they're doing now, like the Xbox One, they may be cheaped out. Like everybody can kind of admit that, right? But if you look at where they're pushing now, they're like, you really think that they believe that cutting edge technology, is where it's at. Like Nadella, he believes in like holograms and all this kind of stuff. I heard Jez on your show last night talking about that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like they really like the stuff that's like the holographic stuff coming out at you and like the HoloLens. And they announced VR headsets, which by the way, they just took a big dump on Sony by saying we are going to have headsets that work with Windows 10. And these are obviously going to work on Scorpio as well, starting at $299. You know what I mean? Like that's a price point that I can get next to.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the shot that he took, that the guy took, saying that you don't need extra hardware, unnecessary hardware to use it. You know, he basically just threw shade right at Sony. It's just to say, hey, look, you're going to need a new console to use the PlayStation VR to actually utilize it. So, I mean, it was a great show. Great show.
Well, you know, the problem again, and I don't want to get into a whole VR tangent just yet, but with PlayStation VR, they're using older tech, like the light things, the dildos or whatever that you're holding. That stuff from 2010. You know what I mean? Like their design, and it's still expensive. Like you would figure using that eye toy or whatever from that came out in 2013 at the PS4 launch, and these glowing sticks from 2010, that this thing would be cheaper than like the $500-600. You know what I mean? Considering, and it's not. You know what I mean? So I think that Microsoft is actually waiting sometimes is the best thing to do, because what you're going to do is you're going to get cost-effective parts that are more powerful and things like that. That's the whole thing with Scorpio. Like people were assuming it was going to be this huge thing, like expense, and it's not going to be like a huge expense. It's still going to be a premium product at a price that we've seen with the console before. So I like the fact I'll wait for it because, hey, I'm content with my Xbox One S right now. So
I think what's cool about that VR headset too that we seen, it was like $299. They were talking about like all the sensors are in the headset, so you're not going to need like an external sensor to monitor all that kind of stuff. It's kind of going to do like a 3D scan of some sorts of the room, is how I was taking it. I think that's really cool. So that means you're not going to need all kinds of tracking stuff. You know, you won't need like a whole room dedicated to it. And they were really hitting the points that I was really like going against with VR. Because I don't want a dedicated room. I don't want stuff on my head and all that kind of stuff. I think they're pushing it in the right direction, and it's good to see that.
I think not that many cords either.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that was going to be one of my points as well. Yeah, everything is real sleek. Like you know, this metallic silver, just you know, to show like power and like something that looks futuristic. I mean, I hope actually now, since they showed the studio and how it had this sleek look, that the Scorpio is going to have this metallic sleek look as well.
Yeah, I love it. I love and what's interesting is one of the main people that are designing the stuff like the Surface and stuff like that, like this Surface thing that they're coming out with, is what's his name, Panos Panoy. Is that how you?
Are you talking about Surface
Studio
or Surface Style?
Okay. Yeah, like I don't want to butcher his name. I'm terrible with names. I suck at. It's not like pronouncing Mario, but you know, still I'm terrible at pronouncing.
You're funny.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, this guy is a rock star. You see this guy coming on stage, like Microsoft better be paying this man. You know what I mean? Like he brings it, and this is the guy that's going to be designing, like I guess, the Xbox Scorpio, and had a hand in designing the Xbox One S, which. Yeah. Really is sleek and amazing looking. And GKB She-Wolf, how long before you guys have this this Surface Studio in your guys' place? I'm just curious.
Oh my god, I wish I could get it tomorrow, bro. Honestly, like I saw that thing, man, and I was just like, I want that.
Yeah.
As a content creator, and you're seeing what it can do with the little puck thing, and oh man, I was just like, yes, that's what I want.
Yeah, it looks amazing, and you know, I'm just impressed with what Microsoft is doing, and you know what I mean. I see the enthusiasm there. You know what I mean? It's like they want to go out there. You just want to high five all them people. You know what I mean? I want to get up there and high five Phil, and you know what I mean, and shiny shoes like South does.
Was Phil there? I didn't see Phil on stage or hear about him.
I didn't see him.
I don't think he was on stage, but I believe he was there. You know, like Tim Dog was actually there, and so was like Doc Cupcake. Yeah, because I saw Tim. I was working, so I had to catch like the highlights later. But I saw Tim.
I don't think Doc was there.
He wasn't there.
I don't think so.
Well, no, yeah. I saw a tweet that makes me think he was, because he's like, it's odd. All the people in the front row are having Apple product. They have Apple products. They're like. You know,
Someone said that last year. Let me ask you guys a quick question about the VR headsets that we saw, and then I want to address one of the numbnuts in the chat. We got the VR headsets that you guys saw. Is it safe to assume that whatever they come out with, that they're saying Windows 10 will also be a plug right into Scorpio? Are you guys assuming that same thing, or no? There'll be something separate.
From what like when they spoke about it, that's what I interpreted it as, but.
They didn't make any mention of it, right?
No.
Okay, which I thought that was weird, right? When they say, and further down the road, usable on Xbox, future Xbox products or something.
I was thinking that too, Mooch, but at the same time, I was like, well, they kind of announced it, but we don't really know what the Scorpio is really going to be at this point. We know a couple of the specs and stuff, so I think they're just holding off a little bit on it. Is what I was thinking.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because look, they already have it advertised that the Xbox Scorpio is going to be the only console that's going to be able to do native 4K gaming,
right?
And it's also going to have quote unquote high fidelity VR. So, in a way, they've already announced that this thing's going to have high fidelity VR. Now, what is that going to be? Is that going to be Vive? Is it going to be Oculus? Or is it going to be the option to use both those things if you already own them? Or is Microsoft also going to be having this kind of stuff that's going to be able to work on there as well? It makes sense to have your own. And look, if you're going to come out with something for $299, then by the time Scorpio launches, why not $250? You know what I mean? You don't need a bunch of dedicated bullshit to use it. I think that this really has a chance of taking off a lot quicker than Sony's or Oculus or any of that other stuff, because people are going to flock to Scorpio anyway. It's got a lot of intrigue and things like that. I'm really excited about it. But look, for $299, I'd be on that all day.
And that's, let me segue that real quick, because part of me saying there was an asshat in the chat, and no, it wasn't the other person. I was KL Maha. They're like, look at these hypocrites now saying that VR is okay. First of all, we're not saying VR is okay. What we're saying is VR is tolerable at $299.
Hey, to be fair,
right.
Also to be fair, I tried it. And I did say that I thought that Sony's headset was comfortable, and I liked the experience. You are kind of in it. Didn't I say that, Mooch? I didn't shit on it. I was like, it just like that. Particularly the games that I got to try.
I have yet to try it, and then after I saw K Mega's video on people getting eye herpes, I was like, listen, I'm not going to be trying that anytime soon.
Oh man, yeah, so, no. Just the best thing to do is have some hand sanitizer and get your own. That's basically what it is, wipes. Man. Yeah.
Buy your own.
Now I got to worry about eye herpes too.
Yeah, man. If you see something on your eye, I start getting a little crusty, man. Your ass better go to the doctor.
Can I also bring up a quick fact before we kind of jump more farther into the whole VR kind of thing?
Yeah.
Sure.
One of the things that I thought was actually interesting that they brought up at this was actually the Windows people, where you'll actually be able to put like key people on your taskbar and stuff and actually stay in contact with these people. And I thought that was actually really interesting. Yeah, for for instance, people who are doing podcasts and stuff, and people who you kind of need to talk to a lot, and it's hard to either get through with a phone or whatever. I thought this was a really neat idea as well, because you could do different effects, like you can poke them and kind of stuff like what you would do on Facebook, but it's like all on your taskbar, so it's like right there and you're pretty much in your face, I guess you could say.
And I love the integration. I'm sorry, I was just going to say I love the integration of what Beam does with the community. Where it was like they were showing the part where the guy was driving and they hit the button. They said go into the woods, and and that was that's awesome, because that just makes people more immersed. And this is putting Twitter, YouTube on Twitch. I said Twitch. I'm sorry, Twitch on notice. Just for the mere fact of there's all these policies. There's so many people on Twitch right now, and if you already got a Beam account, which I do, I just haven't started streaming anything yet. I can't wait to get this rolling, man, so I could start really doing this.
Well, here's the problem I got with it's not just Beam, it's anything that comes out new. It doesn't matter if it's Microsoft, Apple, it doesn't matter who actually comes up with it. So you have a really cool feature in the fact that they showed that example on stage where they're like, the interaction with the communities being like turn left, turn right, or impacting the game. See, the thing is, though, that tool is only as powerful as the developer. Mm-hmm. If they don't put that into the game, you can't do that. So, some of these features, especially when and I'm only speaking about myself. When I used to see a lot of this stuff, you go back 5-6 years ago, I used to be a little bit naive and be like, that's great. I'm so excited. That's the best thing I've ever seen. And then it doesn't come to fruition, because this is one of the first things I also used to tweet when I first started Twitter a long, long time ago, was #LazyDevs. And the devs are lazy. That's why I always say we got to stop treating not every dev is the creator of Uncharted, or the creators of Gears, or the creators of this. They're not all the 5 or 6 tiers of greatness. There's a lot of shitty ones. And if you don't believe me, go check out Randall Thor's channel and check out Horse Racer 2016. You know, I mean, there's a lot of games out there that just suck, you know, and unfortunately, those are just shitty devs. The point of the matter I'm trying to make here is you have an amazing thing like Beam that has tremendous potential, but if you don't have the developer that's willing to do the work, and that's the same thing we saw with the ESRAM, right? And it's the same thing you see with all kinds of different things. Connect, okay? People are like, well, I could make it Connect enabled too, but I'm a lazy dev. So they just don't, you know? And I mean, listen, we're all human beings. I get it. There's times at the end of the day you're like, I just want to go home. I don't want to do this. I'm not going to do that extra work. But these tools, these toys, these fun things we get to see at these great conventions only come to life if the creators are willing to do the work for us. And that's why I'm happy to see Microsoft present it, but I would have liked to have seen 15 or 16 developers be like, and we're supporting it. You know?
You're right, Mooch. Like I've jumped on board like right away with Beam, and I love like streaming on it, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, I use that interactive feature all the time, because I hardly ever use it, and when I watch other people's streams, I don't use it either. And the reason why is because there's really not a lot of games that are, you know, using it right now, like some Game Boy emulators and Minecraft and a couple like Overwatch and stuff. But like, what to your point of like the potential's there, you're right. And I think Microsoft's going to start pushing that potential, but I still think only first parties are actually going to utilize it. Like third parties, you know, they're all lazy devs too. And I agree with you with the ESRAM and, you know, 900p versus 1000p, you know, the whole resolution crap. It's just devs not putting the time in, and we're going to see that continue, honestly.
Well, that's the thing, and I think that's something that everyone needs to understand. Like, I mean, same thing goes for, like, let's talk about Scorpio. We'll put things into a grander perspective, and this is just we're just completely paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing some of the things that were said in the future, but native 4K, okay, native 4K 60. These are things that's why Phil says it's up to the developer. So when you have somebody like Mr. Howard that works for Bethesda, or so-and-so from, you know, Peter Moore, who's not, he wouldn't make this call, but, you know, from EA, or somebody who's just behind it that's a huge developer, and they're like, we will give you the 4K experience, gamers, that you've been looking for. That's when I'm like, yeah, I'm like, you know, I'm like, I accelerate that clap from the audience, because that's real. That's going to happen at some point, you know, some point in time that'll happen. The problem is when just the company or the threshold or the platform says, this is what we can do, but we're not making this. We're just providing the tool.
A perfect example would be the backwards compatibility.
Yes, that's a great example. It's a great example, actually. And look at how slow that took. It took the developers, it took the third-party developers till they saw their old games that were sitting around doing nothing, like, rise by 300, 3,000, 5,000% in sales, because they were making 0.01 cent, okay? And then they went to like $15,000 in a half an hour. That's a lot of money to all of us. I mean, these games are dead, and it took, you know, seeing is believing. Everything comes down to the green. It all comes down to the money. And so are the developers going to get that much more out of these Beam functions? That's yet to be seen. Myself personally, I would look at Beam differently if I was the audience right now. Look at Beam as this: less lag, okay, better frames per second, less stuttering. When you interact with the user, yes, look at the good interaction, the faster interaction. When you type something, it's instantly on screen. The user can see it quickly. He can respond to you. He can respond to the community. That's what you should be getting out of Beam, is clarity and community, and forget the other stuff, because the other stuff is really just icing on the cake, and it's out of everybody's hands. It's only up to the developer.
Well, for the Microsoft Studio games, it's going to be fully implemented. You're right. It's just going to be basically, the third-party stuff is what's going to be the issue. But I can see something like Battlefield, because they always go top-notch, over the top, and maybe with even Battlefront. But like if you're looking for games like Overwatch, something like that, I guess if the game is popular enough, they might get involved with it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The developers has got so much on their plate, and on top of the fact that they're lazy as hell and they only just want to get a quick buck.
Also, let's be honest, they're not being paid for this either, because like the whole interactive thing, you don't pay to interact with them. You get these lightning bolts that you actually earn while just watching things. So it's not like anyone's actually physically paying for this, like at least the Beam, like the actual gamers using Beam. Obviously, like I'm sure Beam has to pay out to the devs that put it in there, but
you're right. Like, It's those lightning bolt things, and I think that's just like what Mooch was saying. It's just icing on the cake for people, and it brings people to your channel, and then possibly subscribing, which helps out the streamers and stuff like that. But overall, really, I never found really much use in it. But
and truthfully, I've used it, and it's not all that amazing because you can literally sit there and click and try to use it. But if somebody did it before you, and say if there's like 1,000 people watching, it's whoever gets to like push that button at that particular time. So it's a timer. So you may not even actually get to be the one that interacts with them. Like it definitely has some bugs and some things that needs to be worked out. And I agree with everybody on the devs just may not see it actually useful.
Well, it's good promotion though. That's the one thing about it. If your game is being showed on this platform and people are gravitated to it, that right there, they're making their money one way, shape, or form because people are interested and want to buy that game. Especially if it's a multiplayer. Maybe not so much if it's a story-driven game, but it's all about how just when us as being content creators, we push out the information and people listen, and then they go out and they decide how they want to decide. But that's the thing, that's how Twitch got so successful. People looked at certain games, they played them, and then they went and bought the game. That's what the money. If they're just thinking about getting money all the damn time, then that's going to hurt them down the road. That's what's hurting gaming, period, to me, is always wanting money.
Yeah, look, I like Beam. I like Beam better than Twitch. I think that,
bro.
Yeah, for me, it's like even the background's much better to look at, easier on the eyes. I believe
it's more customizable too.
Yeah, it's higher quality. I like, I like it. It's pretty cool. I'm always getting alerted when people I know go on there, so that's pretty cool. The app works well. I'm looking forward to being able to.
Yeah, how many times did you get alerted when I was testing?
Yeah, she was testing. I was like, must have been 10 of them. Like, she's going live on me. I'm like, this thing's full of shit.
Well, because you have to test it with OBS, and when you test it, I guess apparently it sends it to everyone every single time you click on it, and I didn't know that. And I'm sitting there testing it. I'm like going back and forth, and Crap's like, why does it keep telling me you're going live? I'm like, I'm testing. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know.
You're interrupting Crapgamer's media player time.
Exactly, and there's my brother from literally the same mother, Hell Hammer back, joining in a little bit late. Yeah, odd, huh?
Been a little while.
He's got his own little fan group too. Like they follow him and stuff, and it's always interesting because a lot of the people, a lot of people on like his friends list on Xbox Live are people that follow me too. So they follow him and they all get to see like him sucking it up on Gears or whatever. Like,
I'm great at Gears. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. You know what? Like if I had the internet to actually stream stuff, I think people would love to see me and Hellhammer stream because Hellhammer is always like, wow, and then he gets killed by people with stupid names, right? Like Cock Diesel, hey, this guy just killed me. What the hell? You know what I mean?
It is always the people with the stupidest names that tend to kill me the most. But
yeah, and so we make fun of them. Plus, we're the type of brothers that, like, when one of us is the last one left in Gears, we don't cheer him on to win the match. We cheer him on to get teabagged because that's always much better, right? I mean, and then you record it.
That's much funnier. I mean, I got at least 3 or 4 clips of you with like the whole team like popping smokes on you. And...
What an asshole! what an asshole! That's my brother, ladies and gentlemen. What a complete asshole. Anyway, I wanted to jump out. Nobody's dancing with me on this. Everybody's like, "Oh, Hellhammer came in here. What the hell?" Yeah. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about the games with gold games got announced for Xbox One, and the PlayStation Plus games got announced. Xbox One gets Super Dungeon Bros and Murder Soul Suspect on Xbox One, Super Monkey or Secret of Monkey Island, and Far Cry Blood Dragon on 360, which those are backwards compatible. What's your guys' thoughts on this? I have Murder Soul Suspect. I liked it. I beat it on 360 and Xbox One. Easy achievements. So that's cool to get that kind of game for everybody out there.
Monkey Island's the one that I'm looking forward to. The rest, I don't really care.
Yeah. So, I mean, going around Mooch, what are your thoughts? You probably don't give a damn either way, but... Mooch.
Oh, he's muted.
Oh.
It wasn't that murder one? Wasn't that a previous Games with Gold before? Or am I wrong?
Murder Soul Suspect was never on that. It was on sale. You could have bought it for like $5 or something.
Maybe I'm thinking... Oh, no. Never mind. I'm thinking about that Sherlock Holmes one.
Yeah, Sherlock
that one
Holmes.
that one was on Games with Gold.
Yeah,
I like those kind of mystery games, so I'm actually interested to play this game.
I will say this: like, if you haven't played Murder Soul Suspect, it'll probably take you about 5-6 hours to beat. It's got an interesting story. It's got an interesting kind of mechanic where you're trying to solve your own death or whatever. There's a lot of collectibles. You'll easily just, without even looking, get 700 gamer score. You know what I mean? So if you like interesting kind of,
So you're trying to solve your own death. Is it pretty much like The Sixth Sense?
Except for you're dead. So they take that aspect out of it. So they know basically that you're dead, and you're trying to solve who killed you. And there's like some supernatural stuff going on. You can go around. It's slightly open world as well. Like, I mean, there's a certain size to it, but overall, I think that it's a decent game. It's a game that I already own. Dungeon Bros, looks okay for an indie. Monkey Island looks good. Again, I already have Far Cry Blood Dragon, and that's a kick-ass game.
That is a badass game.
Yeah,
really good.
You guys talking about the games
with gold?
Well,
I think it's pretty good.
I just want to say like one thing for the quality of like. Even though a lot of people say that the games with gold aren't like the greatest games, you still have to look at what you're getting, because you're like. The two Xbox One games, they're both $19.99 each, regular price. So there's $40 right there. And then you have $9 for what? The Monkey one, I think, is about $10. And then the other one is usually, I think, about $15, possibly maybe $20. So you are getting a decent amount of games for a decent price, which would actually count up to like one AAA game. So there's always that to look at.
Here's the thing. The only thing is, though, She-Wolf, and don't get me wrong, this month your argument works great. The only thing is, too, is that you're taking things at face value that Microsoft's saying, right? That's like if you're walking up to an ice cream man and all of a sudden you're like, you owe me $20. And he's like, well, I got a snow pop here, and this snow pop it's $20, so I'll just give you that instead of the $20. And you're like, well, She-Wolf, you can't get mad. He gave you a $20 snow pop. Like, the point of the matter is that, like, it's not really $20. It's really $1.29. My point is that, I mean,
what a moochism.
You've been moved.
You got mooched.
Well, no, because I've always said the same thing when it comes with games with gold, though, is that no matter what, they don't have to give you anything.
Well, see, now that's where you're wrong, because they came out and said, we're going to give you this. That means they actually do by law. If I said, hey, everybody come over to my house for football. If they came out
and said that to begin with, then they would have never had to give them. And they never had to make the 360 games all backwards compatible.
But once they said it, then they have to.
But they didn't have to say it at all, is my point.
But they did. They were losing by. They were losing. They were losing. The point of the matter is, you can't say
compete with Sony, basically.
Yeah, they had to compete. They had to compete with Sony. They had to. You can say they didn't have to, but they did. And like I said, once they say it, then they're stuck. And my point being is that 2 out of 12 months are decent. Then it's a drastic decline. Then it ends up being like, whatever, something Grid or, Grid Force 2 and Red Team Go, Red Team Go. And it's like and don't get me wrong, I listened to Console Corner yesterday and I listened to Brutal. Brutal there should be Mother Teresa, and then right under Mother Teresa should be Brutal Knight. Because the fact that you guys make him play those god-awful games every week and have to talk about them.
Wait a minute.
He does that himself.
I know. I'm only kidding. I know you guys don't force him
to play those games.
I know. But right now he's sitting there at home shaking in the corner rocking. He's like,
he said he was going to play it again on Halloween. So
there's some of the games that are out that they're brutal. No pun intended.
People do like indie games.
Triggered.
People who like indie games are usually people who like crossword puzzles. You know what I mean?
I don't like
not necessarily.
I don't like
crossword
puzzles, but I like indie games.
I like. Hold on.
Go ahead.
I was letting you rip, but then you started. You insulted me, so now I got to come in here.
I got to throw a couple jabs.
See, now I got 3 people.
Okay, like Child of Light. That's a great game. That's a great
Hyper Light Drifter, Mooch.
Listen, Hyper Light Drifter is a game that I have, and I do like it. I just don't like it nearly as much as GKB. But the Child of Light game, man, that's You know those books that the kids read where they open it up and poing, something pops out of the middle, and you're like,
I don't know
oh,
if it-
wow.
Okay. What
I
about
like Child
what
Light.
about Max and the what is it?
Curse of the Brotherhood.
Curse of the
Max
Brotherhood.
Versus the
I'll say
Brotherhood
this.
was
That's
okay.
a cool
That
game.
was
That's a
okay.
cool
The
game.
problem is,
What about Limbo?
Child of
Well,
Light.
Limbo I
and,
liked a lot.
Inside.
Inside
Child of
was
Light
good.
and
ahead,
Max
Alan.
and the Curse of the Brotherhood are hardly considered indies. So Child of Light was developed by Ubisoft Montreal.
That's true.
And then
True,
Max
but
and
it
the
was
Curse
a
of the
small
Brotherhood had
title, though.
Microsoft's money behind it.
That's true. Like indie developers are getting a larger guideline, a larger what am I looking for? Goalpost basically than any other small business in the world, right? I mean, like anybody in the world can be like, well, they're an indie, and then we're like, well, actually, Ubisoft paid them. You're like, oh, all right, never mind. It's like people like Ori. People say Ori's an indie. It's not.
Yeah. Microsoft pumped a lot of damn money
A
into
lot
that.
of money.
I will say this, like the indies that we all consider or good or whatever, like even if you liked Inside, like that's Rand Outdoors Game of the Year or whatever, but whatever.
Good
like a lot
game,
of these
wouldn't get it that
games,
far.
a lot of these games that are getting this kind of acclaim and things like that, these games are games that would have been on like the arcade, Summer of Arcade, because Microsoft always promoted the good ones. You know what I mean? So there's a reason why that.
Yeah, but now there's
but
now just like everything else, everything's so politically correct. Now we have to let the good, the bad, and the very, very ugly in. And the problem is that like, listen, here's my interpretation of indies. I think I gave this analogy before, but I'll even be a little bit more drastic. When you and so GKB, you and She-Wolf go out to dinner, right? When someone says to you, "Hey, how was restaurant 1, 2, 3?" and you're like, "Really, really great." When people are like, "What'd you get?" You don't mention the bread and olive oil you had at the very beginning when you sat down. That's the indie. It's the bread and the olive oil. And don't get me wrong, right? You're like, bro. It just passes the time till your food comes.
It's funny you said that, bro, but I went to Carrabba's, and the first time I ever went to Carrabba's, they do that with the oil and the bread and stuff, and I thought that was fantastic, man.
We got to get GKB to New York stat. Somebody get him on a flight stat.
Oh, my God, bro.
GKB, you come anywhere in New York. I mean, even if you go to a Mexican restaurant, they're throwing you, like, bread and oil. But my point is this. I'm telling you right now, like the indies, I can't sit here. Like I do it for fun. I like getting, She-Wolf triggered. But I mean, like at the same time, it's like I can't tell you guys don't like indies. But I mean, you guys also have to understand that the indies are literally the appetizer at best. It's never something that you can't say when you're coming home. Like I'm pumped right now for Forza, Gears. I'm not pumped for Hyper Light Drifter 2.
I mean, like I'll have to agree with Mooch actually a lot of them, and I'll even say this far: like the indies that I do like tend to be the ones that have some kind of major backing from a major studio to begin with.
Yeah, me too.
So it's like like people say, Ori and the Blind Forest is an indie game. It's not. I mean, I guess it's kind of in the same vein as some of the indie games try, but don't even get close to hitting that kind of quality. Or
well, let me ask
what about Super Time Force? What about Super Time Force?
Okay, now I bought Super Time Force the minute it came out because I was like, "This is the land. We're in the generation of the indies. Let's get back to
that fucking game.
That game awful.
That game went from fun to what the fuck is this?
It is ridiculously hard.
And there was 85 of my own character on screen, and I didn't know if I was shooting in live time, back time, reverse time. I didn't know what was going on. But let me ask K Mega. Mega, you were the first one to come out and say I insulted you. You had to come on. I'm gonna hit you with one right now, real quick. Not insult. I'm gonna ask you a question. What's the latest indie you played that you like? That you are gonna go on record permanently on Xbox Nation for liking? You're gonna put your stamp your name to it.
Inside. I beat Inside.
But is Inside? Can we really say Inside is an indie? When you got
that's how
Phil
they-
Spencer standing on E3 stage saying it's his favorite game of the year. Come on. I mean, that's not really an indie.
Okay. What about like? What is that? Ping pong.
What?
Not ping pong. What is that thing?
The golf ball one where you hit the golf balls?
No. It's like FX pinball. It's like you can buy different like pinball machines like with Captain America.
Oh, is that like the Tomb Raider and everything?
Yeah, could that be considered as an indie? Because I really love that game.
Yeah, technically.
I guess so.
Yeah. I love that game.
I'll give you credit for being an indie because I never heard of it.
Pinball, man, check it out.
It's free. It's on free.
FX,
Well,
too.
it's on free to play for Xbox, but you have to pay for like.
You have to pay for the tables.
Yeah,
that's
it's called
probably an
Pinball
indie, yeah.
FX2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really cool, man.
Hey, you know who likes those games a lot, Mooch? Grumpy
Who?
Uncle Pete. I'm
Well,
just saying.
you listen.
What you trying to say? You call me
Hey,
an
Mega,
old
you do
fart?
not want to be.
No.
No. Now, Grumpy Uncle Pete is someone that me and Crap know. He's actually got a decent sized Twitter account. He's just into retro games. Like he only plays games that come basically in a cartridge. But like he has a huge collection. But he's just grumpy. Like
Hey,
the minute
we got
November
number 400, so I appreciate you guys.
That's awesome.
Woo, nice. Now, out of that 400, go sub to my channel, KMega45.
Hey, K-Mega, let me know if that works, because I might start that, because me and Crap have MNC Mornings. I'm trying to get as many people to like sub so we get more and more people to watch MNC Mornings.
Man, you got plenty of people watching the MNC Mornings, man. Y'all got me drinking coffee listening to you guys.
Hey, listen, coffee's a hell of a drug, too.
That's a great hell of a drug.
Oh, yes. But yeah, I mean, I want to get back to the games with gold this month. So I will pay a compliment where compliments due. I do think Murder Soul Suspect, as much as I think it's a terrible game, I think it's a great giveaway because it's a AAA. I mean, it is a AAA. Granted, they went out of business 6 days after they released the game. they still put out a quality game. You know, and I think now, what's the other Xbox One game?
It's what the hell? Oh, it's Super Dungeon Bros.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever heard it? Is that an indie?
It's brand new.
I was gonna say that might be brand new, kind of September's with that little like the RPG. That was actually pretty cool. I didn't play too much of it. I played about an hour of it, but it's
a brand new game. So
this is like
been released.
a dungeon crawler type game, sort of like Diablo, but like more colorful.
What was the game yesterday that Brutal was talking about that he reviewed? That
was Slain.
No, not that. Was it Slain? I thought there was another one he was talking about, like the one from you guys were going like reminiscing. There was one like something Bats or something like that. You said it was really, really good. I'm just you guys should put a list together because I do value what you guys say is good and not good. And I mean, I listen to Brutal when he's talking about some of these games, and I'm like, the problem is, especially now, and we've been saying this for weeks. This has nothing to do with tonight's conversation. There's so many freaking games. Yeah. Like I don't have time to play them all. So like, am I going to play Slain or whatever that's called? I can't even. I would be lying to you if I was like, oh yeah, I'll check it out. You big liar.
That's my point, Mooch, as well. Like, I think it's a good month. I think they have some really cool games. Like I haven't played any of those games, so that's really cool. There's a lot of gamer score there. But when am I going to have time to play this? Maybe summer or something like that. But that's my dilemma as well.
I'm right there with you. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, the Blood Dragon really intrigues me because I played Far Cry 3. I played Far Cry 3 to like utter completion. No, I didn't 1,000 it, but I'm at like 875. You know what I mean? Like I played the shit out of Far Cry 3. I was like diving after the sharks, just trying to get as much of to create everything I could possibly create, get every weapon. And then when I saw that, I was like, oh, first of all, I'm a sucker for 80s. The minute I found out Stranger Things. The minute I knew that was 80s based, I mean, I watched all 8 episodes in 2 nights. I was like, oh, no, I'm in. Like I
stayed up all night watching that damn show.
Yeah, I'm an 80s kid, dude. I love that
we come from the same thing, like Goonies and stuff, which, by the way, Hellheimer's never seen Goonies, so he should
You ain't seen Goonies?
He should probably rethink some things. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
How about Any Which Way But Loose? And then you got Smokey and the Bandit. Then you got
Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh man,
K-Mega taking this on memory lane right
now. Cannonball Run. Cannonball
Run is fantastic.
Hellheimer has not seen any of these. I can guarantee it.
Yes. I did want to just like
you'd be right
when you guys were talking about Super Dungeon Bros. That game actually isn't a completely new game, by the way. Just
okay. Thanks for setting this straight. What is it?
It's actually a Steam game that's coming to consoles. It actually originally came out back in July 2015. So the game has already obviously
dropping the facts.
Yeah.
Well,
hashtag.
I give Microsoft
but it was
credit.
a Steam game that was being pushed into consoles, and then they're both releasing on console for the first time on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One November 1st.
Well, see, I take my hat off to Microsoft. They did this. Super Time Force was brand new when we got it for free on Games with Gold. This game, and there was 1 or 2 others where we got them first. And
there was cool. Also Van Helsing, the adventure game. That one was a Steam game and was brand new, released on Games with Gold a couple months ago.
Okay. Well,
are you sure that Super Dungeon Bros was on Steam? Because I'm looking at it here actually on my copy on my Steam here, and it says it releases November 2016.
The eternal date was July 23rd, 2015 on Steam.
Weird, because it gives me the pre-order thing here on my end. Unless it was a early access game to begin with or something similar.
It
That
could
may
have
have been a
Possible.
thing too.
Yeah, it could have been. I don't really know, but
Well, Earthlock was definitely new. I know that because I was
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Earthlock was new, and then on the PlayStation Plus side of things, you have everybody gone to the walking simulator and Deadly Tower monsters. So Sony back to like the more indie type, smaller games. They had that one reprisal last month where they decided to give people that Transformers game that was actually pretty damn good.
That is
yeah.
the game.
So, but not only that, here's the thing: they're charging just as much for Xbox Live now. But PSN was down again. We're going to get into that in a minute. People were actually like trying to brag about this thing, and they're like, "Why does Microsoft keep bragging about Xbox Live?" I don't know. Maybe because the whole United States infrastructure was getting attacked, and Xbox Live was still fine the whole time while PSN suffered and everything else suffered. I don't know. That could have something to do with
Didn't
it.
they just come out and say like PSN was down like worldwide?
Yes,
yeah, this
it was
morning
down.
it was down
It
worldwide.
was down worldwide
This
this
morning.
morning. And so not only do they have an unstable network, and they just literally had maintenance the other day as well. Why you're paying for something that has like the scheduled maintenance, I'll never know. Like, I'm not sure the logistics of what Microsoft does, but I think when they do maintenance, the reason why they don't have scheduled maintenance, they just flip everybody over to another server, do the maintenance, and flip you back. There's no like downtime. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane that Sony's charging $60 a year for a couple of shit indies a month.
Well,
and-
Sony can't afford all those extra servers in order to do it the proper way, so they got to do it the backwoods way, where you just do it on your main servers and then pray that everything works.
Yeah.
Real quick, guys. Big shout out to the Don. He's been dropping like game codes like crazy in the chat. So thanks, Don.
Yeah,
That's really
what's
awesome,
up,
bro.
Don?
Up,
Dude?
Don.
Yeah, I should have had. You know what? Like, I seen everybody. He's a good guy to have on because he's an actual game developer and stuff. So I seen everybody looking to him, and shout out to him, man. He's a good guy, man. I like a lot of those people in the Xbox community. Some of these people that a lot of people don't know about yet. So he's like him and K Mega, and these guys are really kind of up and comers in my opinion. Where if this were wrestling, K Mega would be getting what's considered a push in the industry. I know some of you guys won't know what that is, but yes,
I would be. Would I be a heel or would I be a good guy?
you'd be a face.
Yeah,
You'd be
I'd be a
you'd be a
flunky,
baby.
I guess, to some people or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what they call me.
We'd
anyway.
be
Some of these haters.
we're giving you we'd be matching you up against jobbers. Like, I know it's wrestling. Look, I know all the wrestling terms, folks. So yeah, you know what I mean. So that's what he's getting. But yeah. So again, Sony really shit in the bed with PSN down worldwide today. Again, this is the network that people are going to be playing these multiplayer games on. Like, I would be worried. If I were like one of these PlayStation gamers, like, and you have Titanfall 2, and we're going to get into that whole whodunit here in a minute as well. You have Battlefield 1, which is a phenomenal game. You have the Call of Duty remaster coming out, and of course, Infinite Warfare. I doubt anybody's going to be on that. But, you have all these games coming out, multiplayer focused, and PSN is like the most unreliable, clunky piece of shit that I've ever experienced in my life. And them giving away these crummy games each month isn't really going to draw anybody like myself or probably you, Mooch, to paying for this service again.
You talking about PS Plus?
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is I actually had a coupon. I have 12 months of PS Plus already paid for, so I've got that. So I downloaded, believe it or not. But no, I won't re-up it at all. Absolutely not. I mean, I'm going to sound like all the other cheapskates that are out there. I literally got that, and now I'm just downloading the decent games like Resident Evil 0 I grabbed, and there's that Transformers game for the kids I grabbed on PS4 that's free this month. But next month's games were already released, and they're awful. It's like the secret or the event of Ethan Carter or whatever that is, or the other walking simulator that came out that was an indie. That they gave 2 indies away for November. They're terrible.
That could be good.
They're not, and I mean it's just it's off. But let's get down to it. Really, PSN guys it's bad. I mean it's bad.
Water.
Yeah, and this is the thing. This is what comes back to last week's BGST when we were like, you need to go out there if you're a Sony fan and start stomping your feet and lighting the match, because if you don't start talking up, you're not going to get anything, and your prices are going up. You're getting less and paying more. I've never seen anything like this, and yet you still have idiots that come into our chat and be like, look at these Xbots getting free games and cheaper and enjoying themselves and what the fuck are you doing in the chat? Stop making fun of us what we're enjoying. Go and argue with Sony. Like, Sony has dictated everything you're supposed to like this generation, and you don't like any of it. So why don't you tell them? Exactly.
This is the thing. Now, big shout out to Next Gen. I like to get into the thick of things. I like to go into Ponyland and then dissect every last one of them if I can. But there'll be sometimes there's so many of them I got to run out. But I get into Facebook Bang Bang, and then and man, oh my God, like it was crickets. I posted something on purpose hoping that they would come out. I sent a little lure like, come on, step into the trap, just step into it. Didn't say anything, I guess, until PSN came back on. Then here they come talking about PlayStation VR and about the VR situation with Microsoft. It's absolutely insane. I mean, for people that say that they DM Yoshida and that they do this and they do that and all of this garbage, I have no idea why they're quiet when things are bad. If any of this was going on, I would have a video already out saying, hey, Microsoft, you're fucking up, bro. You got to get this shit right. You're making bad decisions. You know what? I'm not paying no $60 or whatever I pay for you to ask me to believe in you when you're not showing me anything. And that's what I'm not understanding. Where's your pitchforks? Where's the fire? Where's the torches? Take your ass out there to Sony Land and let them know that this is not good. Don't get this.
Hey, they'll never do that. And you know why? Because they don't like to let people know that things are going bad, right? Like, I still get it thrown in my face that I had a problem with Quantum Break getting announced for PC 4 weeks before the release, right?
Oh, like, my God.
People think that was like had something to do with it being on PC when it wasn't. It was the reality of the fact that they waited to the last minute. People could have bought Xbox Ones. It was very kind of anti-consumer, and I was on record for saying that. Like, that was the problem. It had nothing to do with it being on PC. But I at least spoke my mind, and I spoke my mind about a lot of things that Microsoft was doing. And you know what I mean? I have no problem doing that because guess what? If you don't speak your mind, they're never going to know. Exactly. So Sony, they just think everything's going along perfectly fine. They're playing that Smurfs game.
Yeah, they're like, do. This is great.
Life is great. They love everything. Every move or right one by us. We're doing amazing.
Let's go spend $600 on a VR.
Yeah, guys, we're a couple of days away from November, and if this was a PlayStation podcast, we'd have nothing to play. Like, you had nothing to do. We'd be talking like indie. This wouldn't be Sony Nation. This would just be Indie Nation.
What are you talking about? We got Last Guardian. It went
right.
It
went gold.
So they got Call of Duty. They think that that's an exclusive, so they don't think that comes to Xbox. So they got
true.
And also they feel that they got Titanfall 2. So
I mean, they got Titanfall 2.
Yeah, so they think that those are exclusives. So
I'm looking at my Xbox One right now. I got Titanfall 2.
So listen, Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 is a lesser game than Titanfall 1. Titanfall 1's average scores were in the 7s. Mm-hmm. Now that it's on PlayStation, in the 8s. And don't tell me it's because of a campaign. Everyone's saying the campaign is 4 to 6 hours. It's lackluster. It's not well put together as far as the story, which is what you needed. Everyone's wondering, what the hell's going on in Titanfall? Don't worry. We'll tell you in Titanfall 2. Or maybe Titanfall 3. We'll see what we want to do. You know, like
I mean, obviously, slapping on a half-ass campaign isn't worthy of upping.
That's exactly my point. Exactly, Hellhammer. Because you've got now they've dumbed down the multiplayer and they added a half-ass campaign in 2 years. People, 2 years. That's not enough time. You've even got the COD is a cut and paste every year, and they still have a development team of 3 years. I mean, come on.
I will say this: Titanfall on Xbox One right now on the Metacritic is rocking a 92. That's pretty impressive. But
it's actually not impressive. It actually goes a step further to show you, and I said this a long time ago, that Metacritic is just as bad or not reliable as any other publication you read. Go by people that are playing. Listen, I don't like plugging other shows that I don't care for, but the Kind of Funny Games crew, okay, that's the Greg Miller and Colin Moriarty. They're not really first-person shooters. This guy, Alfredo Diaz, I believe that's his name, he was on IGN with them. He broke off and has nothing to do with Kind of Funny. He does his own Alfredo plays on Twitch. He is strictly a Twitch guy, but he's very good friends with them from IGN. So whenever there's a shooter, they bring Alfredo on because he is, I'll tell you, I've seen him in competition. He's very good. and they handed the realm over to him. They let Kind of Funny all the rights that they would have got. They said Alfredo's gonna. He did the review. He did go over to Kind of Funny Games and watch him. This is a channel I don't even care for. This is a guy that I don't usually care for. But at least he was honest. He said, I played the campaign. I would never play it again. He said, I don't really know where they're going with the story. The whole connection between the pilot and the Titan was kind of lost minutes into the minutes. He said the other problem with the campaign is they gave you all, they tell you in the very, very beginning you have to earn all these rights and abilities as a pilot, but they give the rights and abilities to you like a half an hour into the game. So he's like, you're going through the story and they're like, you don't understand. You're a pilot in training. And Alfredo was like, but you gave me all the weapons and powers. So I do know what I'm doing and I'm kicking ass. So he's like, the story doesn't correlate with what they give you. And he goes, I'm sorry. He goes, I would never go back and play the campaign again. He goes, that being said, the multiplayer is okay again. It's basically, now he goes, because it's a half-assed campaign, the multiplayer doesn't shine anymore. It's a dumbed down from the first one. He didn't say it was bad, but so what I'm saying to everybody out there is now you're getting a 92, but the game that was actually faster, better, and more put together with Microsoft's Azure cloud and everything else got a 70-something. It shows the hate. It shows the bias. And this is what I've been saying. Now the number's right in front of you because Titanfall 2 is a lesser game than Titanfall 1. Don't tell me because they threw a 6-hour campaign that nobody's going to play more than once. It doesn't matter. Titanfall 1 had a campaign that was a multiplayer campaign that you never played more than once. So that's equal. That's a wash. The campaigns are a wash, in my opinion, because no one's saying it's memorable.
Well,
so where's this 92 coming from?
I will say this, Mooch, and I'm not a fan of this guy, Jim Sterling, right? You guys know who he is?
Oh, he's the Peach, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of his, but he was tweeting out stuff this morning, and I don't follow him, but I had seen some retweets on my timeline, and he said that EA cherry-picked which outlets got review copies of Titanfall 2, and that only ones that would like that type of game or give it a positive review got codes. Because if you look at the Metacritic reviews, there's 7 on Xbox One, and there are 16 on PS4. And so that's not a lot of critical reviews.
That's
and
not
some of them,
biased crap. That's normal, right?
Well,
I'm crazy, not them.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're crazy like a fox, I guess, because this is something, a situation where, there is obviously something going on here, and I wanted to talk a little bit about some other stuff regarding reviews as well. But this is interesting that they're kind of cherry picking who to let review this game. Let's be honest. Titanfall 2 took a beating in the tech test. That was She-Wolf GKB. That was your guys' most anticipated game, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We played, and I know Aussie Gamer's going to watch this and have a stroke or something, but we all played this game together. Yeah. And what happened? I swear to God, we got spawn camped in this game. I played Titanfall 1 for hours and hours, over 100 hours, and I never got spawn camped once in that game. Never got spawn camped, never got spawn killed, never had to deal with campers. Everybody's just running and fighting. It's fast-paced, and that's what made it fun. This game, that's what it felt like. That's why the game was doing bad, in my opinion. You know what I mean? People, they ruin kind of the aspect. Maybe it can redeem itself at the end of the day. I don't know. But
listen, here's the good news, Crap. Let me let everybody who's listening and everyone on the panel, take a deep sigh of relief, everybody, because you'll be playing it in June or April next year. I can't use the words free. Nothing in life is free. We are paying for EA access. But Vince Zampella is only get about 2 red pennies out of each of us instead of like $15 to $20 a piece. And that's what I got to say. F you, Vince Zampella, because that's the actual truth of the matter here is screw that guy.
Or you'll see it drop down to like $10. Like,
I'm not. Listen. I can't tell anyone on the panel, and I wouldn't even give you a mooch rant. If you said I'm buying it for $10, I tip my hat to you and say, God bless you, because that's capitalism at its finest. When nobody buys it, price goes down, you buy it. That's awesome. But I will not do that because, to be honest with you, this is a man, okay? You have to call a spade a spade. Microsoft came in and finished the game in development for them. Microsoft steps in last minute and pays buco bucks for a marketing deal. And no, I don't know what the ins and outs of the marketing deal is, but I know what a marketing deal stands for, okay? And I'll tell you what it doesn't stand for. PlayStation 4 was the controllers used at E3. PlayStation 4 is what the Respawn Inc., okay, not just the producer, Respawn Inc. tweeted out, can't wait to play. 16 out of whatever it is, the majority were PS4 reviewers getting copies. You've got Kind of Funny Games doing initial reviews, which is a PlayStation channel over all Xbox channels. It's just it's hit after hit after hit of insults to Microsoft, and Vince Appella's like, I didn't really want Microsoft to be the only one. We didn't even know. Yes, you did, Vince. Nobody in the world doesn't realize that $25 extra million showed up to finish your fucking game, okay? You can't sit there one day and tell me, who sent me $25 million? Was it my aunt? No, it was Microsoft, asshole. And you know what I'm saying? This is the bullshit that exists right now. And that's why people are like, Mook, you can't talk about a developer like that. Yes, I can. Because guess what? I'm the consumer. I'm his customer. He does what I say, or he doesn't get my money. And you know what? Frankly, I don't like the way that they treated the whole situation. They treated Xbox fans like shit. They didn't give us the early. Why would you not give Xbox guys early access? Battlefield couldn't wait to do it, and it made out in their favor. So you can't say anything bashful. The only thing I can say is you're shy and you're a disgrace to your own product. So screw him. I'll see you in the vault. Yes, I will download Titanfall 2 when it's in the vault because I paid for the vault, and I'll use it then. But I'm not going to give him 1 cent before that hits the vault.
Hey, I was saying
that's some preaching. Wow, I'm over here.
I got Titanfall 1. I don't need Titanfall 2.
Got a tambourine. I'm in here dancing and shit. God damn, man, but no, for real, no, you're absolutely right. This is the same reason why I'm with you on this, Mooch. And shout out to my boy 100 from Intro Media Gaming, my clique, my crew. But you know what?
That's great.
Yeah.
But he's an ass because he got the game.
He did get it. He told me. You saw I wrote him today, right?
Yeah. He told me you wrote. He said, "Hey man, I'll fire his ass up. How dare you get that game?" But you know what? It's his. You know what I'm saying? This is prerogative. You know what I'm saying? We all love Titanfall for what it was.
Absolutely.
But the problem is that it's that fuckery that they did that I will not purchase that game, and that and now I'm stuck.
That's the first time that word's been used on Xbox Nation, ladies and gentlemen. Fuckery. So
fuckery.
yeah.
Yes. Thank you. All right. You know what? And also I might as well throw one of my little lines. Send them to Hades. I have no desire for that game unless I get it for free, and I totally agree with you. But see, that's where it's about the consumer. You know what I'm saying? It's about consumerism. If you wanted my dollar back then, why the hell you don't want my dollar now? See, you thought you have a bigger, better pie over there with PlayStation Nation, which I don't have a problem with that. But look who got you there first. You was all looking dirty and flabby and sick and shit with that old dusty ass sweater, wanting to come up in here. Oh, we really want you to get our game, man. It's gonna be good. And then trying to take shots at COD and everything else. Now you're trying to pander to the COD crowd and change the game up. I'm just disappointed on all levels. I am not getting it. I did want it, but it's over with now. I'm happy with Battlefield 1. So.
And you know what's kind of funny about the whole situation? A lot of people, came out and said that, hey, you guys shouldn't complain that you guys didn't get your EA access. It's not like they have to give you all that stuff. But you know what I thought was actually a really funny point in this is before the tech test, you were able to get it for the discount. It was supposed to come to the early access and everything else. There was no issues. But then once the tech test came and all the Xbox people turn around and voice their opinion saying that this game is not the same. Not all Xbox people. There are still quite a few that thought the game was great.
Aussie
That's their opinion. But a lot of people who played the first one did say the game did not feel right. And they weren't happy with it. And then all of a sudden they decided, no, you're losing your discount. You're losing this. You're losing that. And I just thought it was hilarious how all of a sudden they took all of that away after we came out and we voiced our opinions when all the PlayStation fans were like, oh, it's an amazing game. It's an amazing game. And then, there's people complaining that, well, why should we be complaining about EA access? Well, don't you think it's a little weird that all of a sudden they decided to change their mind at the last minute?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, if you look at, I don't know how many of you guys have seen this, but apparently there was these questionnaires going out, like, how did you hear about Titanfall 2? Or, is it because of the early access that's going to be available on EA Access with Xbox One? You know what I mean? So Microsoft was planning for this thing to be one of those early access games. Remember how what was it? I think it was Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront. That was a big thing for Sony. Like they were advertising it like an exclusive. You look at GameStop, and they had these big like exclusive PlayStation, and then you look in small print content, timed content, or whatever. You know what I mean? Or so and Microsoft was like, yeah, they might be able to get it first, but on Xbox One, you're going to get to play it a week early. You know what I mean? Like that was huge. And I think we were all expecting to be able to play that game early as well. And the fact that, and again, a lot of the Xbox community, I don't speak for the community. I never claim to be representative for the community or anything like this. But I will say that, a lot of people in the community were like, man, Xbox, man, they make us look bad because they're complaining about the disc. Remember that? Like, and I had to remind people, nobody really cared about the disc thing. It was like everything from
it was
Vincent.
The concept.
Yeah, it was like that, and it was everything else, like the taking it away the EA access after it was already on there. Some people had already pre-ordered it through there and got the 10% discount. You know what I mean? Saying it's not going to be in the vault or on EA access. You have Vince Appella kissing Sony's ass, basically saying.
Well, we actually had people yelling at us saying that like we were haters because we canceled our pre-order because we didn't get the EA. Yet, funny thing, we had the discount. We actually pre-ordered that game as soon as it came out, and we had the 20% discount. We had it, but we canceled it.
I canceled it because
it fucking sucked.
Yeah, the game just wasn't good.
I bought the original Titanfall twice on on the X1 and on the PC, and paid for the DLC. What I'm saying, early, so before they gave it out free. So it pisses me off. Like, I've been diehard with the Xbox exclusives, but for those guys to just come at you and just change it up like that, man, it gives me a sour taste in my mouth. Like, man, I help support you guys. So many other people. You have a great game. You have a great concept. It's very original. Why would you? Yeah,
but there's some people out there that say you don't have that right. There's people out there that are saying that you're not entitled to that.
And see, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. If I pay my money, I'm entitled to say whatever the hell I want. Exactly. If Crap says that game is dog shit, and let's say that Gamers Know Best say I love the game, they both pay for it. They got the right to say it. That's the whole point of having this panel and having this discussion.
There's two things in America. There's two things that people love in America. They love a comeback, right? Everyone loves a comeback. The other thing I shouldn't say love. That this is more of a discredit. This is what K Mega's story. What he just said is what really hits home. This is an event where you see a lot of 80s movies where people are like, let's donate, we'll give to this person, this and that, we support this person, and all of a sudden that person gets big and they turn your back on you. Vince Appella apparently had big-time words, and correct me if I'm wrong here, it was with Infinity Ward, with the Modern Warfare guys. Okay? Yeah. He, after, first time you wonder, you say, well, whose problem was it, right? Same thing with Kojima and Konami, and everyone was like, Konami's an asshole. Konami's an asshole. Konami's an asshole. Then people started coming out that worked with Kojima, and they were like, he did this, and he did that, and he did this, and he did that. And you're like, maybe Kojima's the asshole. And in this case, it was when Vince Appella left, everybody was like, well, he's just a talented dev fighting the company. He must be being treated poorly by Infinity Ward. Now you find out from a ton of people in the industry that he's an asshole and he's been a prick and things like that. And it's like, maybe Vince Appella is the asshole. Because here he is. He said it when EA first announced the exclusivity with Xbox One for Titanfall 1. He's like, we didn't know anything about that. We have no idea. Well, Vince, tell me something, buddy. Where'd the money go? How did you not know? You're the executive producer, director, owner, this, that. You got like 85 fucking titles, but you didn't know where this extra huge check came from Redmond? Like, that's the bullshit that I don't understand. And then he turns his back on the Xbox community, being like, oh, I love, like, Crap, you did a video on it. He was like, I love PlayStation. I never meant to do that to PlayStation. Yeah, the color blue and, don't give me this shit with the green. I know a green disc has a second meaning to it. He's using that as an alibi, for God's sake, okay? Yeah, we know what he meant. He was talking to the Val. In case anybody doesn't realize, still, the Val was an Xbox employee or a Microsoft employee for ages. He just left like 6 to 8 months ago. Yeah, and he's like, I want to play. He said, I want to play the Xbox version, and his response was, green discs are ugly. Get the fuck out of here, Drew McCoy, and your fucking Big Mac, fucking whatever he's got. He's got like the Burger King as a logo. Like, these guys are just like ridiculously ungrateful, and that's why I said it. I will play the game when it's again, I hate using the word free. When it's free, okay, when it's in the vault, when it's something I've already paid for, I'm not giving these guys any more money. Now, to get back to what K Mega was saying, 100, absolutely. You guys want to go play the game? Play the game. But what I like about 100
that shit solo because I'm not playing it with him.
Well, 100 said it. He said it. He goes, Mooch, I'll be the first to tell you if this is dog shit. And he will. He'll tell you. He'll say, I don't care if I spent that money. That game is dog shit. He'll be the first one to say it. So I trust 100. And listen, I don't think the game, as far as the mechanics, no one on this panel said the mechanics were bad. The shooting and everything was still good. But they changed the speed of the game, and they changed the look of the game and the feel of the game. The wall running is condensed. The speed is slowed down. The spawning is in odd positions. It's, you know, like you say, it's spawn camping. There's just something. And the Titans, the way you kill the Titans, the way you go about them, the pulling the battery out, that's just, you broke the formula. Like the thing about Halo was people got mad at Halo and 343 for adding sprint. They got mad for adding sprint. This game changed everything. And people are like, Mooch, you should calm down and play the game. No, I'm not going to calm down and play the game.
They added sprint, and now there's 16 plus million people that play Halo.
Exactly. And they got
adding sprint seemed to completely ruin the game.
It ruined the game, right? If sprint ruined the game, then tell me how the Titanfall 2 didn't ruin the game. Come on.
Yeah. And the snipers, they made snipers a huge focal point. You know, like if you get a group of snipers, that's so Call of Duty-ish. If you get a whole group of snipers and then they're on the other side of the field, they can just light your ass up if you got a bad spawn.
Right.
And that's exactly what was happening.
My worst thing about this game has to be the maps themselves. They're too open. Like the purpose, at least I thought from Titanfall, was you're a pilot, you know, you want to be able to get from point A to point B fast. You don't want to always have to be using your Titan. You want to be able to wall run, jump on buildings. And most of the maps that we saw did not have that. It was like, you might as well have just walked in an open field and get stepped on by a freaking Titan because that was about the just what you're doing.
Yeah. And you know what? And I think GKB pointed this out too, which was one of the things about Titanfall 1 was everything, and you just kind of said it too, She-Wolf, was that everything was closer together. So when you wall run, you go to building to building, right. You up on top of the buildings. It was very kind of it was the same. Yeah. You know what? It was almost like they did to Titanfall what happened to Call of Duty. Call of Duty 4, in my opinion, has nice compact maps. You've got, you know what I mean? It was perfect. And then when they started doing the newer Call of Duties, they started making these, like, maybe not as big as Battlefield, but maps that are way too big for 6v6 with no vehicles. You know what I mean? You know, now you have them doing the same thing kind of with Titanfall. You know, so I'll be interested to see.
Crap, do you remember the big thing that Titanfall producers and developers were all talking about with Titanfall 1? They made a huge deal that you could go from one end of the map to the other and never touch the ground.
Yep.
You cannot do that in Titanfall 2, and they haven't mentioned that once.
Here's the other thing, too, I made mention, too, when we were talking about this a while back, too, is I think the QA and the focus group was PlayStation 4 players, and I think they didn't like a lot of the speed and the things that we enjoyed from Titanfall 1, and I think that's why they changed a lot, because they were trying to pander to, you know, that new player base. And
40 million people, GKB, 40 million.
I mean, and that's fine. I mean, I get it. Like, they're developers. They don't work on fucking, you know, rainbows and sunshine, right? They got to fucking make money. I understand that and stuff, but you still have to, you know, get back to your original player base, the ones that stood by you and all that kind of stuff. And as far as like the EA Access stuff, you know, guys that, like me and She-Wolf that were on the fence that absolutely love Titanfall 1, this was our most anticipated game. We were hoping for that week to go ahead and play the final code, because the Titanfall 2 text test was just early code. Like, it could have changed by then, and we want to give it that benefit of the doubt. But then they go ahead and like, nope, you ain't getting that, and blah, blah, blah. So, you know, at that point, that was the last straw for me, and I was just like, you know what, I'm done, passing on. Battlefield 1's out, and I'm going to be playing that until Call of Duty comes out. So,
and you know, listen, sometimes I get like, you know, I can get emotional, this and that with these podcasts, but you know, when you hear GKB say that, like, GKB would be the first one to say, Mooch, you know what, I really appreciate your opinion, but I'm still going to do it. When I made my comment and GKB was like, I feel the same way, that's when I knew I was on to something. I said, you know, the way I feel is striking a lot of different Xbox people the same way, because it really is. And I got to be honest with you, the more and more we discuss it, this is really just an ugly, ugly story coming from a very greedy group of people over at Respawn. You have to look at it this way. These were a group of people that were shunned out, outcast, left, Jerry Maguire style from Infinity Ward.
Show me the money.
Yeah, show, you know what I mean? And they're just out there. And how the comments by Vince Zampella and such, it's, you know what? It's a turnoff. It's an absolute turnoff to the game. And I'll tell you this much. I've said this once. I'll say the same thing that She-Wolf and GKP said. I am exactly like they were. It was definitely my top 3 most anticipated games for 2016. And I'll be honest with you, I sit here and say I'm not buying it, and it pisses me off. It pisses me off because I wanted to play that game. I really did. Like, honestly, I could have very easily seen Titanfall 2 being the game I played probably from this Friday till like next March, and other games I would have been like really having a hard time on all the podcasts. I'm like, yeah, enjoying Dead Rising 4 for 15 minutes, back to Titanfall. You know what I mean? Like that's what I thought.
It was my only anticipated game.
Yeah,
I can't even count how long I kept saying I didn't want Call of Duty. I wasn't even a big fan of Battlefield 1. Like, I literally only wanted Titanfall 2.
No, Battlefield 1 is off the chain.
Oh, yeah. But I played the previous ones, and I'm a type of player that I love to be able to wall run and boost and jump around. Like, even in Titanfall 1, I don't really use the Titans. I actually like just letting my Titan go while I'm running around killing things trying to kill my Titan. And when it comes to Battlefield, you're on the ground. And so, yeah, I'm not a big player for that. And, of course, you can't, like, boost and all that kind of stuff. So that gave me issues. So my anticipated game was Titanfall 2. But after that tech test, I was like, I feel clunky running. I don't feel lightweight and boost ready and jump from building to building to building like I did in Titanfall 1. Then I played Battlefield 1 because, let's be honest, they did a really smart thing by bringing out their beta literally a week after the second tech test of Titanfall 2. And I loved it. Like, I have to be riding a horse for me to love it the most, but at least I think it's because it's the fast pace you get with the horse. But that became my most anticipated game, and that's pretty sad, to be honest.
Yeah, well, you know what? Like, it was funny because I remember how hyped you guys were, GKB and She-Wolf. We were playing the game, and then I could literally see, like, GKB and She-Wolf start to be like,
yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Like, they were literally like, I don't know. Then we're playing the game, and I'm pissed. Like, I'm getting spawn trapped, and I'm like, what the hell is this? People are camping on the other end of the map, sniping me.
Oh,
I'm
man,
like,
you get smacked on every game, though. You can't.
Shut up. You shut your mouth. You shut your mouth, Hellhammer. Hellhammer, it likes to talk shit, but he knows I'm the much better gamer than him, so it's all good.
Protus just said 440 viewers, bro. Ooh.
Oh, damn. I wasn't even watching that, but hey, thank you guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button, man. I want to get that like to view ratio up. You know, you stingy bastards. You can't even throw me some likes. Come on.
Not everybody can be like the console corner, bro. I mean,
I know, right?
Wow.
That's stiff. That's stiff right there.
That's stiff.
you know,
That is tough.
what you
I know. Okay, so I wanted to talk also about I got Hellhammer here, so this is something cool. Mark Cerny's 8.4 teraflop comment regarding the PS4 Pro. Nobody's asking for an apology or clarification on this. Mooch, you know damn well that if Phil Spencer had come out and said something like that, or somebody on the Xbox side, Albert Penelo or
well, I'm glad you. That's actually a great point to start on with this whole thing. Instead of getting into the fuzzy math that he was talking about, is that someone was asking me on Twitter when we were going through BGST. They're like, "Why do you care so much?" It's not that I care so much or I lose sleep. I got to get up tomorrow and go to work, and I got to pay taxes. That's what I worry about. Okay, I don't worry about these types of things. But when we're on a discussion in a podcast, you got to do what's fair is fair, right? And so my point is what Crap just said. If Phil Spencer gets on stage and he's like, "Was just kidding, guys. Xbox One S, 3.3 gigawatts." You know what I mean? And you're like, what the fuck did Phil Spencer just say? And everybody would be like literally the whole, like normally even in like a speech that he was giving, you're not supposed to raise and ask questions. People would have their hands up, be like, what did you just say? Now it's got this and this for teraflops and blah, blah, blah. My point being is, when Microsoft says anything, and Crap, you use a couple of examples where Albert Penelo put his foot in his mouth. And by the way, you say his name wrong the same way people say Mario wrong. It's Penelo. It's not
Mario.
Oh my.
Yeah, there it is. How do you guys say that French fry thing you guys eat up there with mayonnaise and other weird
Poutine.
things? Yeah. What is it? Poutine?
Poutines.
Yeah. What if I call it poutons? All right.
Poutons?
We got the
Well, I'm not gonna
pout-
make fun of you for it.
Well, people in Canada would. But
you
you know,
people on the East Coast, you know what? That's why I'm here in the South, man.
you guys are laid back.
Well, hold on.
Laid back.
I just
No,
wanna-
but crap. You know, let me
go
just
ahead.
finish my point. I'm definitely handing the mic over to you. Like, Phil can't say these things. Albert can't say these things. Nobody can say these things on Microsoft's side. But then Sony can sit up there, say this number, which is it's how do you say this? Because when you say it's not realistic, people go, no, Mooch, it is. It is, but it isn't. If you're not going to use the application, it's not realistic. So it's not going to happen. Nothing. You said it. No AAA game can go to 16-bit. It would look just fucked up. It wouldn't look right. People wouldn't buy the game.
And even Tim was saying that, like, I guess the clarity and the picture quality takes a hit. But like reading Mark Cerny's comments that he makes in there, and somebody tweeted me this earlier, and this is from 2005 with Ken Kutaragi, who was the PlayStation godfather. He created PlayStation 3. This is what he was saying about PlayStation 3. So you'll see that Sony talks a lot of shit. They're doing the same thing now that they did in 2005. Here goes. He says, Sony Computer Entertainment boss Ken Kutaragi has claimed that the PlayStation 3 will run games at an unprecedented 120 frames per second. I shit you not. It also says, according to Japanese news service, Kutaragi's comments were made at the Tokyo International Digital Conference, blah, 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 thanks to the PS3 cell processor. Particularly interesting that there's no TVs that can run that, blah, blah, blah. Kutaragi acknowledged this, but said he wants the PS3 to be ready to make the best of the technology once it finally arrives. So you can see they're hyping up stuff that wasn't even there back then. And he also says, Kutaragi pointed out that the cell chip can decode more than 10 HD TV channels at a time and can be used for rotating and zooming effects. He also discussed some of the different ways in which it could be used to display actual size newspaper pages, for example, to show more than one HD channel on a screen at a time, or for video conferences. Kutaragi also explained how a processing power of 25.6 teraflops could be achieved by creating a cell cluster server with 16 units, each made up of 8 cell processors running at 2.5 gigahertz. Yeah. So this was this guy basically saying that the PS3 would run at 120 frames per second, and that you would be able to do like multiple screens at the same time and all this kind of bullshit. So you can actually see that Sony's misdirection and misleading of consumers isn't anything new. This was 2005. Right? And this was the year that they showed all those fake trailers, like the CGI stuff, and tried to pass it off as actual PlayStation 3 footage. Now, Hellhammer, what are your thoughts on this whole, like, take a 32-bit thing and cut it in half to double the teraflops?
I mean, that's an old developer's trick anyways. It's been around for years. People have been doing that literally since the mid-90s or probably before that. It's something that's, like, pretty standardized, at least nowadays. I mean, you're looking at having a lot of, a lot of flack for that on any kind of modern game, because running at 216-bit, you're either going to have a lack of graphic fidelity, or you're going to have a lot of lack of AI or that sort of thing, depending on what they're splitting it on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
you know what's great about what Hellhammer just said is that he said this has been out for a long time and it's kind of a little trick, like it's a card trick. The fact that you have the architect of the PS4 and the PS4 Pro on stage making sense of it to try and make his product look better when it's something that's been out for so long and everybody knows, like Microsoft was actually snickering at his comments, like he really said that. Like, that just shows you the desperation that Sony's at. Go ahead, Homer. But I'm saying that's something that just take that into credit, is that this is something that's been around for a very long time, and you have the architect of your fucking masterpiece up there defending this hack of a math equation to get to 8.4 teraflops.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what it is. I mean you're running. I mean with less floating points, you're basically gonna have less for anything that you're gonna be using for AI or anything like that. So I mean, I guess you could technically have that much power if you're using it on something that's not gonna technically use that much power to get the graphical out.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
like
it's
in layman's terms, I mean, because people are like have told me they're like, crap, you're full of shit. It really is 8.4. I mean, I guess from a technical point, right? Like,
Yeah, so I'm guessing all those people who just went out and bought brand new 1080, the GTX 1080s and stuff for their PCs are actually running like 16 teraflops. You know, I mean, come on.
yeah.
I mean, it's that
Well,
simple.
but by this same logic, I mean, Mike, and I've heard that DirectX is able to achieve this it was designed to do this kind of stuff. So then Scorpio, if it was, let's say, 6.5 teraflops GPU, so you would say then that it would be 13. Like, I realize that this is like a stretch. Like, the Sony fanboys are upset because they're going to be outpowered, and that's the only thing they seem to care about. Like, games be damned, services be damned, all this stuff be damned. The only thing they care about is having power. Like, for me, I actually hate this stuff, and I'm like, She-Wolf, I know you're like probably like rolling your eyes like hardware talker, falling asleep, but I actually hate the fact that we have to talk about teraflops this generation. Like, to me, I cannot stand it because nobody knows what it is. Nobody cares. It's just like, how many more do you have? So you can say you're the most powerful thing. Like, honestly, when did we get to this point?
Crap.
Like, the wheels, yeah.
We'll be talking about it for the next 10 generations. It's not going away.
Yeah, it's here. It's here. You know what? Look, all the whole talks, teraflops, pterodactyls. I don't give a damn about it.
Terra Squad.
Yeah.
Terra Squad.
This shit is annoying as hell. Nobody was talking about any of this junk. Only time that I heard the word resolution if you was thinking about, saying I was gonna stop drinking or flirting with women at the end of the year or whatever. Yes. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But what the thing of it is that it was all a ploy because the Sony fan base is basically in a predicament to where, look, they got to make a decision. Do I want to buy the PlayStation VR or do I want to buy the Pro? Not 9 times out of 10, if somebody already bought one of these things, they're not going to go and throw another $400 or $500 on something right back to back. You know what I'm saying? Right. Most people don't have bread like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a thing of where they know that their numbers are down when it comes to pre-orders, so they wanted to just get the fan base up. And because it's been all about power this generation, that they thought that if he says this, then it's going to get them all excited because the Scorpio has been taking all the momentum away from PlayStation right now. And that's all it is. That's all it boils down to, you know what I'm saying, in layman terms.
Yeah, I mean, when you go to the 32 to 16, like Hellhammer said, it's been around for a while. They've been doing this forever and stuff like that. But the way he's explaining it and all this stuff, it sounds much like what ES RAM does with Microsoft. They're sending certain assets to the faster RAM, shooting it back, and that's the only way to get that. Now, we've already talked about lazy devs and all that kind of stuff. So if they're not doing it for the Xbox One S and putting the time and the optimization into doing that, why do you think they're going to do it for the PS4 Pro? They're not. They're going to build the game for what it has and optimize for what it has, and then that's good. It's just gonna get shit.
Exactly. And this is like I tweeted this out a few weeks ago or like a week or so ago when all this stuff started up, and I even said if this type of thing was the holy grail of adding extra processing power to existing hardware, then where was it on the sub 2 teraflop consoles that we already have?
Mm-hmm.
Mooch doing work in that chat box, I see.
Just doing what I can, man. Just acting like a crossing guard.
Hey, it was 465, man. Look,
Hell yeah.
It's good to see like everybody come out and support the show. I'm still blown away by the support and stuff. Make sure you guys like subscribe to all these people except Hellhammer because he's never gonna do videos. Like I told him, I'm like, dude, if you were ever gonna do a video pointing out why Mark Cerny's full of shit. You know what I mean? Like that would have been, like, well, we would all tweet it. We would, like, I would bump it, man. Like people would be all over that. You know what I mean? Because look, I'm just this hillbilly. I don't know. Like Hellhammer will tell you, like he builds my PCs, he builds my operator. Like I'm always like, dude, my computer's messed up. He's like, well, you idiot, you uninstalled your what the hell did I uninstall?
I uninstalled your antivirus.
Yeah, I uninstalled my antivirus, and like I'm like, dude, my computer's like. Well, you uninstalled your antivirus. You got 800 things of malware and this and that. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So yeah, like I'm not like the most technical person, like, but I do know how to I guess, be entertaining. But Hellhammer, like, that would be a perfect thing up your alley to talk about on a video, and it wouldn't take long. Just be like, well, you know, kind of set the record straight or whatever. Yeah,
we got to bring one more thing up before we change subjects. Okay, this is something that, you know, the console war is not going anywhere. Also, as far as not just as power talk, not going to go anywhere. Neither is console war. So we got to stop pretending that it'll go away. And that's why when you see these people on Twitter and, you know, a lot of these people that are in the gaming media, and they're like, I don't know why these guys are talking about it. Meanwhile, tune into my show later while we do an Xbox One versus PS4 comparison. It's like, what the fuck did you just say? Like, everybody's doing comparisons and everything else, so there's no kumbaya. But before we leave Cerny, let's just remember something. I'm going to say this very calm, very simple, and then we'll move on. Cerny came on stage. He came on to prove something that was just rumors by people talking in Reddit. Came out to make sure that everybody knew the PS4 had the 8.4 capability, which they really don't. And if you don't think that plays a role in console wars, why didn't he come on stage and tell everybody, no, we only have 4.2 teraflops, but if you did something very unethical in the development world, you could get to 8.4. That's what somebody who's a true architect, a leader, like Phil did when Rod came out and said that the box, the Xbox One S, has more juice, and he debunked it. And you know what? To be honest with you, Rod wasn't wrong, by the way. Rod was not wrong. But as a true leader like Phil is, he debunked it for the better of everybody, because he didn't want the bickering. He didn't want people who had an Xbox One fat to feel like they have lesser of a product. And that's what a leader does. This asshole comes on stage and he sits down and he promotes the bickering by coming out and saying something, instead of correcting himself, saying, well, it is only 4.2 teraflops, but an unethical method of developing. We could do this, and smaller games could do this, but you'd never see it on a AAA. It would have killed it immediately. No, he comes out and promotes it. So all I'm saying is, and I want to move on, is there's not just these podcasts that promote the console wars. It's happening at the executive level. And if you don't believe me, just go read Mark Cerny's piece, where he sits there and actually does a math calculation to kind of constitute this.
To Mooch's point too, like I agree. I don't think the console wars are going to go anywhere anytime soon. But I do, with these new iterations and the power and all that stuff, eventually we're going to get to that point where power is not really going to matter anymore. And I think the wars, quote unquote, is going to move to, you know, who has the better games at that point.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
that's
it'll
a conversation I want to have. Exactly, it's going to plateau at some point.
Well, the thing is, though, but I want to answer GKB. First of all, GKB, that was a true statement. That was a great statement. But unfortunately, while the bias exists, GKB. Wait, what is that? Sorry.
Here we go.
No,
here's why you're wrong.
It's not. Well, it is where you're wrong, but it's not your fault. It's not your fault at all. With the biased media that's out there, we've had games like Sunset Overdrive, Titanfall 1. Okay, all the games you're playing right now, and they're barely getting mid-80s in meta. So what I'm trying to say to you is that you said eventually it'll come down to the games. Right. How can we ever be judged fairly, GKB? We're not.
I mean, here's a good point too. And as far as that goes, like with the media and all that stuff, you know, we're starting to see the media go by the wayside, and people are starting to figure out that, you know, they're bullshit and stuff, and we're just not going to stand for it. And gamers these days, you know, the ones that actually go out and look for reviews and stuff, are finding their favorite reviewers, you know, to watch that. And I'm sure we're going to talk about like what Bethesda did with the reviews and all that kind of stuff, and touch on that too. But I think that's where it's going to go, Mooch. And you know, people are just getting better, and they're just tired of the bullshit, man. Like, I'm tired of the bullshit. I want to talk about like Sony's games and Xbox games, and just, you know, which is better, and just have great arguments and conversations about that. Like, I don't want to have this whole console war bullshit and stuff like that anymore. You know,
the thing is, though, GKB, first of all, I appreciate your point.
I don't think it's going to go away.
And I also agree with you. I would like to get to that too. First of all, in order to have Xbox games versus Sony games, Sony has to make some.
Okay.
So that's thank you. I'm here all night. Don't forget to tip your waitress. Don't forget to tip your waitress. Listen, the other thing is that how can that ever happen, even if they do produce the games, when it's going to be a conversation that's always us versus Sony and the media and the developers and the producers? You know what I'm saying? So you can't. Eventually, you're just gonna crack. You're gonna get upset again, because no matter what that conversation will be with games,
And that's why I said I agree with you. I think the wars is always going to be there, and you're right. But I would just rather, if there was this war, let's talk about the games and this fucking bullshit.
I understand.
Thing. That's all I'm saying, bro.
Well, that's why. Well, no, what I was going to say was just that I agree what he was saying, but I say let them fight. Let everybody fight and weed out the weak. Because until the weak gets eliminated and keep on listening to this rhetoric that keeps going out and then throw it back at our face when we know better. And there's people out there that knows better as well. They just probably with a crew that dominates them by letting them like, no, you're wrong, they're wrong, they're all liars, they're this and that. I hear it all the time. They talk about Crap and Mooch, like, man, you cool, but Crap and Mooch, man, those are some liars. When you speaking facts, how the hell are you lying? People out there are waiting for games to come out. There were people that were anticipating that this system, the PlayStation 4, was going to be back to the level of the PlayStation 2, and nobody has seen it. It's not even in the same comparison as the PlayStation 3. And you just go back and look from year to year to year from when the PlayStation 3 dropped games and see what the PlayStation has dropped, the PlayStation 4 dropped, and it is way worse this generation. So how is it better? How is it better than a company that listens to their fan base when they know that they fucked up? That's what's killing me. So let the weak go. Let them fall, fight, and then we'll be standing there prevailing, holding our Xbox flags, letting these people know that fuck it. You should have listened to us in the fucking first place.
Yeah, that's actually very well said.
Yeah, that was actually
very, very, very articulate. Very, very, very well said. You know what? Like a lot of people that are being like Mooch or Crap Lies or whoever, whatever, right? Next gen live way. Yes, like that gets a lot of the times people get misconstrued with things, or like we'll report stuff that we've read. You know what I mean? That was ended up being wrong or whatever, and then people like treat it as first. Like we were the ones that broke that story or whatever. You know what I mean? There's like I'm very clear when I say, hey, this is a rumor. I've heard something. I even said pre-show that I had heard something. I can't say who because people are like, what's your source? I'm like, dude, if I tell people where I heard this stuff from, nobody's going to give me stuff anymore. You know what I mean? I like getting stuff here and there. You know what I mean? Like everybody knows, like Hellhammer can vet that. Like Mooch can vet that. I had the documents, the video documents for Pro, like what they're doing, what they're planning, their PSN scheduled maintenance days.
Yeah, I read the entire document.
Yeah, all that stuff. So I mean, look, it's to me, it's just, and a lot of it is just entertainment. I like doing the news stuff, but I also just like being goofy and just fun and entertaining. Like if you're pissed off at something I say or that you can't handle the truth, that's a you problem. I'm sorry to take Mooch's word there, but
it's a you problem.
But it is. It's a you problem. That's not a me problem. I don't feel bad or feel like anybody should. I like that people have kind of come here, and I've never. Again, I get this a lot. Like, apparently somebody had. I guess I made it to a Reddit thread or something, and I guess some of the things were pretty positive that were said about me. But I've never actually used Reddit, so I don't know. But, I never claimed to be. And Zaire is never, and we've never claimed to be.
Oh, you're on Reddit all day.
Yeah, I know. I've never claimed to be a spokesperson for, anybody in the Xbox community. You know what I mean? I've never claimed that. I just like to have fun and just talk gaming and things like that, and that's what this channel is all about. So, at the end of the day, that's a you problem if you get offended or whatever. Because
Don't you sit back at the end of the day and whether somebody does start something with you on Twitter or they conflict you on what you're like, what is it you're defending? So tell me, what am I missing? I have a PS4. What should I run out right now and go buy? Walmart's open 24 hours. What am I missing? What can I go get tonight that I'm missing? 1 piece? 2 piece? 3 piece? 4? Like, what the fuck am I missing? Like, what am I missing? What are you guys playing that's so great? And that's the thing. All people, you know what they do when they come back? They're like, well, you guys just think, and all they do is they fire back an attack on something that's just like something stupid. Like, well, I like having 1.8 T flops. I'm like, well, I don't know what that means. Like, what does that mean?
That whole thing is a bunch of shit anyways, right? Like all these people are just arguing over a bunch of crap anyways, basically, because at the end of the day, nobody cares. The majority of people who are playing on a console shouldn't even care what the measures of performance are on what they're playing, honestly.
Look, a lot of people on this panel, if they don't have a PS4, they're going to get one. I think K Mega has one, I believe, but GKB and Shiva.
I don't have one.
Okay.
I bought one for my son. I bought one
It's
for my
being
son,
crap.
but I didn't get one for myself.
Well, I mean, I got one. It's just sitting down there, and like I say, if it wasn't for that Resident Evil game that was remastered, that was given away free in October, I don't know what the hell I would be like. There's nothing to play on the fucking thing. I mean, and people are like, don't you like the? There's no community. I have a lot more friends and acquaintances on Xbox. Definitely, there's no doubt about that. I'm not gonna, but I have like 50, 60 people that I've let into the PSN world. And that nobody talks, nobody does anything. It's just like you can get on there and you're like you're in your own little world. Like, I don't know about you guys, but maybe that's what I'm missing. Maybe that's what we're all missing. Maybe PlayStation gamers are just loners. They like to play alone. And you know what? I'm not going to bust your balls. That's fine. That's your prerogative. That's not me. That's just not who I am. I like getting on. Me and Bam, shout out to Bam Bam. We were playing Gears last night, and he was like, you know what I love about this? He's like, I was just sitting here playing Gears, and then 3-4 people, like last night, 3-4 people just jump into the party. They're playing other games. They're just bullshitting with us, having a good time. Like, that's the Xbox world. So, and you might go, well, that's not fair, Mooch. That's because you do podcasts. People jump in. Yeah, well, I do podcasts. I play PlayStation. I have a ton of friends on there. Nobody jumps in. Nobody does anything. You know why? Most people who hop on PlayStation don't put a headset on. I'll put my headset on and just be waiting because I know people are going to jump into parties and hang out on Xbox. That doesn't happen on PlayStation. It's the lonely Station 4. That's just what it is.
There he is. No, he's right.
It's a hard sell for me, like, to even get the PS4 again, man. I bit the bullet. I bought 2 of them. I bought 2 Vitas all at the same time. You know, I had them for a little while. They literally just collected dust, right?
Me and GKV have the same exact story. I bought a PlayStation 4 and a Vita back to back.
I sold them both, and now I'm at the point, like, you know, everybody's like, oh, you know, they're gonna go down in price and da da da. Yeah, that they will. They'll be cheaper, and then that's great. But there's still no games that appeal to me to play on it yet. So there's no reason for me to pick one up. Right now.
I literally drive by places like every day. I drive by a pawn shop that's like PS4 is $150, and I'm like, yeah. I'm always thinking like I could go buy one, and I'm like, but this is gonna sit there.
Yeah, that's the thing for me is that it's not. I've always owned, you know, placed multiple consoles, and now, like, for me, the PC is kind of taking the spot of the PlayStation 4, and I have no problem with those people that has a PlayStation 4 and a PC and they don't want to buy an Xbox. I understand that, but I damn sure can bet that you're playing on your PC more than you're playing on your PlayStation 4. I guarantee it. But I can't say that for me because I play more on my Xbox than I do on my PC. Yeah. So it's you know what I'm saying, because I have these options. I have more options. And it's just like like Mooch said, it's just to conversate and to, you know, in the community. Man, the Xbox community is the best community, hands down. Now, I know that there's probably some kick-ass communities out there on PC when you're playing Dota or some other games, but just for the overall community, man, just to go in and then people hit you up from all over and just say, hey, what's up, K-Mega, blah, blah, blah. Man, That's just awesome, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah, you're actually 100% right on that, because the PC communities, there's a lot of good communities on there, but they're so stuck just on 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
It's not like a thing where, like, you know, basically like Mooch said, I mean, even before you know, any kind of podcast or anything like that back on the 360, I mean, I still had people jump in on parties and stuff just while I was playing any game. I'd get invites to parties, invites to this.
I get invited to a party every 5 minutes. Sometimes I have to appear offline.
I mean, that's just how it goes. I mean, it's a more social system.
It really is.
Let me say this. I think more so because you're talking to a guy that was a diehard PlayStation guy. Like, you couldn't break him. Shout out to my homeboy Bananas, man, Freddie B. He was the first one to introduce me to to an Xbox and play Halo, and that changed my life forever towards the Xbox brand. But it was more of a social thing when we were playing games on PlayStation. Like, you know, sitting in the house, we all would be gaming, playing Madden 2K or Tekken, whatever. And that was the experience that we had. So maybe that there's a lot of people that come over to the house. Like, I'll go over to some homeboys' house now and I'll go play, you know, Madden or whatever on their PlayStation 4. And then they're always calling me up to come. I'm like, well, man, why don't you play online? Man, I don't want to do that shit, man. Just come on over, we can play. That's I think they still have that nostalgia feeling of how it was back then, and they just haven't let it go.
Hey, Nintendo's got a console for them. I mean, honestly, yeah. But I also, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Sony blame game, right? They're blaming They say it's completely the media that are causing a lot of their troubles, particularly with the No Man's Sky hype, saying it's 100% the media. They have nothing to do with it. They like wash their hands of it. That's all on Sean Murray and No Man's Sky. I think this is Sony just being Sony. Like they think that their shit don't stink, and that people will actually believe that. And funny thing is, reading the comments in this article prove that people are like, I knew Sony wouldn't have anything to do with it. It's all Sean Murray's fault. And while I think Sean Murray does shoulder some of the blame, Sean Murray was trotted out there 2 E3s in a row by Sony, shedding the tears, and Yoshida and all these people were hyping this game up as like the greatest indie game of all time. And now we're seeing that, Sony's like throwing them under the bus, and it's a completely dick move, acting like they had nothing to do with this. Thoughts? Let's go.
It just shows you the power that Sony has.
Like Mooch's little.
Well, it's just what you said is just kind of like what we base our whole story on. I mean, Sony's so arrogant right now, and they know that they have the media. Listen, the media has been on Sony's side for so long now that why can't Sony use the media as a crutch? The media can't turn around in 24 hours and be like, wait a minute, did we just get insulted by Sony? Well, fuck you, Sony. No, the media can't do that. Like, you can't just be like, I love this guy. This guy's the champion. This is the champ. This is the champ. The champ turns around and is like, that promoter's full of shit. And you can't be the next day be like, I hate the champ. Champ sucks. Fuck the champ. You can't do that. They have to kind of like coexist. So Sony goes and uses the media and says, well, it was the media, and it was, the way that they kind of spun everything, and also the way that Sean Murray was talking. This is how powerful Sony is in the media, people. Like Microsoft, you see Microsoft has to walk around with smiles on their face all the time. They have to watch everything they say because any little thing is misconstrued into something like ridiculous. So, I mean, again, it all goes back to what we first said, and then I would definitely want to pass the mic. It's just that if Microsoft came out and said 8.4 T-flops, if anybody, even if a janitor that worked at Microsoft said, I heard that the Scorpio is going to be 12.2 teraflops, they'd be like, Microsoft, is that true? Really? Oh, do you see reporters and cameras and flashing bulbs in front of Redmond for the next 2 weeks until somebody came out and did an apology statement for the janitor? You know what I mean? Like, it's just an insane thing. Sony, you have the architect says it, and everyone's like, well, we'll just kind of let it go. It's all right. It can happen. It can happen if they make their own RC Pro-Am game. Again, shout out to K-Meg on that. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, that's my point. Sony's so far in their pockets, they own their ass. They own their ass. And that can't happen in Redmond. Microsoft can't do that.
No.
Yeah, I agree. Anybody else want to chime in on this?
Well,
Sony to blame?
Go ahead, K-Man.
No, I just was agreeing with Mooch, man. It's just like they can't back out. They can't back out now. They've laid the bed, and now if they try to do the spin, I mean, you listen to like certain big YouTubers that have tried to say something positive about Microsoft, and they have to recant. They got to go back and say, you know what, guys, I was just playing around. That's where they're at now. The fan base is so strong on wanting to be negative towards Microsoft this generation that they have to stand by it. I mean, GameSpot gave Titanfall a 9. They gave this version of Titanfall 9. Look, I haven't played the story mode. I don't know how good it is, but I damn sure know that it's not on par with Gears. And I'm sure it's probably not on the same way of Uncharted 4, but you're telling me that this shooter is going to be on the par of that. No, I've played Battlefield 1, and that story is absolutely amazing. I still wouldn't give that a 9. So you can tell that the bias is there clear as day, and the media has to stand by it, or if not, they'll lose all credibility.
Yeah. Like GKB, what is your thought on that? I mean, Sony should shoulder some of the blame at least, right? I mean, just passing the buck seems kind of shitty.
Yeah, I mean, like, absolutely. Like, look, Sony was behind them the whole time before this game coming out. They pumped a bunch of money in. We all know it, right? And then and they're like, clapping hands behind them. They're like, yeah, kissing babies. We're on with this No Man's Sky. And then, No Man's Sky drops, and it was complete and utter shit. Everybody just was like, what the hell is this? They charged $60 for it. And now, Sony wants to protect their brand, man, and they're just backing away and being like, no, it's fucking everybody else. We had nothing to do with this shit. Like, That's ridiculous, man. Like, you guys as fans that brought this game, and you guys were being yelling and screaming about some of this stuff, but this is the time where like you need to like tell Sony this is fucking bullshit and we're not going to take this shit anymore. And you got to do this stuff, man. That's what the Xbox fans do with Xbox. Whenever they do shit, like we're hard on them motherfuckers, and that's why they do the things they do. And you guys need to do the same if you want that kind of a service and stuff from Sony and stuff, man. It's just how you got to do it.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Let me say this: I made a mistake. I thought you were still talking about like just the media, but I didn't know that you was talking about No Man's Sky because I stepped away and was doing something.
Yeah. So, dude, they're blaming. Sony said they had nothing to do with No Man's Sky. It was all them.
Well, that's a bunch of shit. I mean, you saw Yoshida sitting there with the guy from the head developer of Hello Games, showing the game, playing the game, pretending like he was playing the game. This game is the most immersive. They were projecting this game out to be the next best thing of this generation. Like it was going to revolutionize all these games. Like it had certain other, I guess spaceship simulator games on watch. Like, damn, is this game going to be really this good? And then to charge the customers $60 for that game is disgraceful, and then act like that they didn't want to give you your money back. That's the bad thing about it. And if they did give you the money back, there's been so many reports. I had a video about that where these people got their money back from Sony, and now if they want to try to get any type of money back for anything, they won't ban them.
They banned you. Yeah, they banned you from the from talking to the people at support. So if you I saw that if you actually got a refund for No Man's Sky, they ban you from getting any support from that point on, right? So like that is absolutely ridiculous. But that's Sony. That's like, that's so Sony, guys, right? It's like a sitcom. Like you can picture some kind of cheesy music and like, oh, well, Sony screws you over with no backwards compatibility, no EA access. They ban you for getting a refund on the shit game they hyped up for years. That's so Sony, guys, right? I mean, let's just give them a free pass, right? Like, hey, good old Sony. Let's just go ahead and give them the pass on that. What about you, She Wolf? Are you still awake? We're done talking hardware.
Yes, I'm still awake.
What do you think? Do you think Sony should shoulder some of the blame for this?
Well, of course they should. Like, when it comes down to it, if you're going to start off backing a game, then stand by that game for the whole time. Don't turn around and turn your back just as, they start having problems or people realize that the game isn't what it was supposed to be. But they didn't. But are we really, let's be honest, are we really surprised? Just because of the fact that Sony is still a company. Sony still cares about the money, just like any other company. So if something fails, what do companies usually do? They back away. Whether they back away slowly or fast is another, a whole nother topic. But it still comes down to they will back away because in their best interest, in their eyes, is to back away from the product that is failing. So that's pretty much what Sony did. And whether it was right or wrong, obviously we think it was wrong, but to them, from a business point, they think it was right. So that's what they did.
And let me just, I want to tie this into what we were saying earlier. She Wolf really nailed it right there. And I'll tell you why. We were talking about Titanfall 2 and Vincent Pella and how he turned his back. This is what I'm saying. Don't think developers and executives are out of this console war. They are very much a part of this, and they are deliberately doing actions. Yoshida turned his back on one of his head developers to show you just how ridiculous that company is. And Vincent Pella turned his back on all the Xbox people that supported the 10 million people. Let's say 7 out of the 10 million people that were Xbox people that purchased, whether it be through the vault, purchased it when it was on sale. It doesn't matter. He got our money one way or the other. He turned his back on us too. All it ever is these guys. So don't just say that it's us and it's the podcasters and it's the YouTubers and it's the people on Twitter or the Facebook groups. It's not just us doing this. It's at the executive level. That is a piss poor attitude that you would have when you're a captain of a ship, whether it's not your fault that engineering fucked up. But when engineering fucked up, guess what? You're the captain of the ship. You take responsibility, okay? Exactly. And he's the captain of Sony's ship. And what does he do? It wasn't me. It was that guy. You know what I mean? That just shows you piss poor leadership, and it just shows you the stigma and the mantra that Sony has as a corporation. And it just goes to show that it's no surprise that Vince Zampella likes a company like Sony over Microsoft. He's a coward too. He just backs off. And after all the things we did for him and purchasing it and backing up Titanfall when that game would never exist, he turned his back on us for Titanfall too. It all ties
this just
in.
Mooch hates Titanfall.
No. This just in.
No.
Mooch doesn't like Vince Zampella.
Nice. And for my mess up, I got an explanation for it for me messing up on what the hell I was trying to talk about. I didn't know how to spell Ling Ziyu because a person in the chat was asking me what Tekken players do I play with, and I was like, how the hell you spell Ziyu? And I didn't want to butcher the name, so I went and was looking at it. And then when I jumped in, I was like, are we still talking about Titanfall 2? And then that's when I was like, oh shit, we talked about No Man's Sky. I got you. So.
Well, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I don't know. Like, this thing is interesting because I think that Sony, they're like a politician. Things don't stick with them. You know what I mean? Like that bugs me.
Mm-hmm.
So I just got to say that definitely bugs me too. Yeah. I mean, that bugs me a little bit anyway. But I wanted to close with a little bit of Nintendo stuff. What is your Nintendo, right? Super Mario Bros. Well, anyway, Nintendo is only saying they're going to have about 2 million of the Switch consoles at launch. So I mean, that's down from 3.5 million Wii U launches available at launch. So apparently they're not really thinking this thing's going to set the world on fire. Nintendo did predict or did post almost $400 million profit this last quarter. So it's not like they're actually hurting for money. Things on the horizon, like phone games. The 3DS is up 20% year on year. So they got, they're doing pretty good. What's your guys' thought on the 2 million ready for launch? Does that seem a little low to you guys?
I think it's a little low, but I think it's kind of, what they've seen with the Wii U and stuff. I think they're a little hesitant, and I think they want to do like a soft launch type thing. So they don't want to put a bunch out there, and then, if they don't sell well or whatever, they don't have a lot of overstock and stuff like that. I think that's just a business decision for them just to keep money, in the bank and all that kind of stuff. I know Mucho Greek, he's a business guy. He knows.
I totally agree. And let me tell you something. That's smart on their part to do that. Listen, Sony does it, and they're like, well, Sony only sold 150,000 units, but they only put 150,000. It's genius. Sony's a genius. Nintendo puts out 2 million units, and then no offense to you, but you fell for the bait. 2 million, they sold 3.2 of the Wii U, so it shows that they just have no confidence in their product. No, it's supply and demand, people. It's supply and demand. If your ice cream man, again, I'll use this, if he pulls up and he's got pistachio fucking flavored ice cream, but he's only got 2 scoops of it, and the first person in line likes the 2 scoops, and you're like, I'll have what he had. Sorry, man, I'm all out. You're like, well,
here's the other thing too, which is
it's not. It's a false image, but I mean, 2 million is a good number to get out the door and make people want the product.
And I think like when they put them on the shelf, let's just say, for instance, like they sell out, right? And then, the news and the media be like, oh my God, they sold out everything, blah, blah, blah. So then that's like supply and demand, like Mooch was saying. And then as soon as they get them into the stores, they're going to be gone again. So
they're gone.
I think, Nintendo is playing it smart real good.
Yeah, Nintendo is playing this very well because they know exactly this false shortage thing is going to be a big thing. They know that people are going to be rushing out to buy the Nintendo console regardless of what it is.
Let me take it one step further. The best business in the world you can ever have is almost like a business like Amazon. It's a virtual inventory, right? So everyone just orders 5 million units of something. Until they get the money for it, they don't have to order the fucking product. So what Nintendo's doing that's really ingenious here is they're already a little behind the 8 ball because Wii U was not, let's just call it a failure, for all practical purposes. Okay, so now they only make 2-3 million units. When they sell them all, they're like, okay, ramp it up. We'll make some more. My point is that Nintendo doesn't have to have 75 million of these units sitting around in a warehouse not selling. Yeah,
so there's no sense for them to have all that back stock.
Absolutely. If this thing really catches on, a generation lasts 4 or 5 years. So they're like, okay, so what? 2 million sell out day one. We'll make another 2 million. You got to wait. Look at the iPhone. One of my buddies got up at 5:50 a.m. on launch. He's getting it tomorrow. The phone came out 2 months ago.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. You know what he said to me today? I'm getting my fucking iPhone tomorrow. You couldn't wait. Like, I mean, if that doesn't prove to you, like, listen, you can bust Apple's balls all day. Apple knows what they're doing. You don't think Apple can't make iPhones? They can make as many iPhones as they want. My point is they want people to be like, where's my goddamn iPhone? You know, and that's Nintendo's like, wait a minute. This generation is going to last how long? 5 months? No, 5 years. Okay, then we'll run out of 2 million in 2 weeks. And we'll ramp up. We'll make another 2 million 3 weeks after, and we'll ship these fuckers out. Meanwhile, the people who are getting them 3 weeks later are going to tell the people that are waiting 6 weeks later, and those people are going to go die hard for the Nintendo Switch. Like, it's just, listen, this is old school business, and it never ceases to work. Because, like I said, same thing with the guy in front of you with the ice cream. That ice cream could taste like shit. But if he says it tastes good, and then you can't have it, next week you're like, give me that fucking ice cream that tastes like shit. I want to try it.
You want that shit flavored ice cream?
Give me the shit. I want to eat the shit. You know what I mean? It's like Ron Burgundy. I'll eat the shit. You know, like my point is that like that's just what it is, people. And Nintendo's playing it very smart. And I'm with you, Crap. I'm actually dancing with you. That console, I think, is going to do very well because they took what the Wii U messed up and they perfected the Wii U. This is just the Wii U perfected.
And then let's put this to another perspective too. That mini NES system got a lot of press. Now Nintendo is like, yeah, we didn't produce enough, and now it's basically you can't find it anywhere.
Where have we heard that before? Mooch 35 seconds ago. You know what I mean?
It's like... that's a good tactic, though.
Yes,
that's a very good tactic. I think it's smart. It's smart on their part, and nostalgia is a hell of a drug, Mooch. So I think Nintendo.
Listen, if you don't
with all this food talk, I think Mooch should just make a food podcast. Mooch is cooking.
I actually think the restaurant, for me personally, maybe it's just because it's in my blood. Like I did it for a long time too with my family stuff. Like I love the restaurant business. The restaurant business makes the most sense. We're all human beings. We all love to eat. Let's be honest. I don't care if you're a vegan. I don't care if you're a fucking meat lover. You love to eat. We all love to eat, and like that's the best business ever. And how
in fact, do love to eat.
Well, let me take it one step further. Like everyone also likes to drink, okay? And if you think about it, around the holidays, what do all your favorite beverages do? Whether you like Jack Daniels, Ciroc, Hennessy, I don't care what you like. Whatever you drink, they have a commemorative, like a glass, mug, this, that, special edition, blah, blah, blah. It's not special. It's the same drink. It's the same drink. But everybody's like, I got to go put my money down. And I got to get that special drink that comes out with my free fucking whatever glass. Like, it's the same thing. They limit the edition. They limit the quantity because people want it. And then what do? It's $5, $6, $7 more for the same liquor that you would have got if you just bought the bottle next to it and not the one in the package. So this is not new, people. Like the liquor industry's been doing it forever. The restaurant business does it for like it is what it is. And Nintendo is genius to do that. And they're really smart to stick to their guns, right? Like a lot of people just keep falling for whatever's the new hype. Nintendo was like, no, we still believe in the Wii U. We just totally fucked up on the product.
Right.
Yeah. I agree. But I know like when we are about to wrap up, I promise. But I did want to talk about Skyrim real quick. All right. Bethesda says they're not going to do review copies early. They want the reviewers to experience the game the same time at launch. I don't know. IGN was pissed about this. They were like, we're mad. We think developers are trying to rip you off by giving you games without seeing reviews.
Oh, no. IGN can't shit on games earlier. Oh, geez.
Yeah, I mean, to me, just think if Microsoft did this tactic and said, you know what, we're not going to give review codes out beforehand on Recore. What if we had to wait for reviews for that? Maybe that game would have sold a little bit more. Because look at how many people shit on that game. I like this tactic, to be honest with you. I think it's fine. Like, this is Skyrim, people. It's a good game. You remember Skyrim. We all remember Skyrim. It was a good game. They did it with Doom, and then IGN was one of the only outlets to give Doom a less than stellar review. You know what I mean? Like, this is just showing you that a lot of these places aren't exactly, as important as they used to be. And maybe if they focused more on the gaming aspect, people would respect them and developers would respect them. But these people like to shit on their games.
I mean, but that's just how it goes, right? Like back in the day, reviews were early reviews for games or anything. They came out weeks after the game was already on the shelves.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, here's the thing: if you're on the fence about buying a game, there's no law that says you have to go out and buy it. Just even if it's the next Halo or Gears on day fucking one.
Right.
Yeah.
You can give it a few days.
I think
and be like, hey, is this worth my money?
I think Crap said it best, or excuse me, it wasn't Crap. My apologies. It was GKB. He said, you know what? I think that with enough time going by, the public is realizing that this biased media is everyone's tired of the bullshit. And you know what? Bravo. Was it Bethesda that did this?
Yes.
Bravo to them. I saw the article. I read it, and I fucking clapped in my office. People were like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like literally, I think that like in all honesty, stop providing copies to the Boogies and the fucking IGNs and the Kotakos. You know what? Get your ass off the couch and go buy the game like we do. Go buy the game and review the game and play the game like we all do. Look at all these other products come out in the world. You know what I mean? Like when Doritos has a new funky flavor, what do you say? Honey, this looks like it's going to taste like shit, but let's give it a shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and if you don't want to give it a shot, you don't want to put that money out of your pocket, then wait a week. And Bethesda's got the balls to say our games are so good. You go ahead and wait a week. We'll see you in 7 days. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of that, and that's where you don't get lazy devs and these asshole devs and the Vince Zampellas and these other jackasses. You know, like that. This is where you get the true talent coming shining through. So bravo to them. I hope that they don't give IGN them any review copies any further. Do what we got to do. Go out and do what we used to have to do in the 80s. Play the fucking game, IGN.
Right. Yeah. That's it right there. I mean, I'm looking at, you know, a lot bigger YouTubers. They were playing the PlayStation VR, and they were just going off and just talking about how much they loved it, how much great it was. Oh, they're going to play on it all the time. Well, I guarantee I'm going to be watching closely, because if I see an eye herpy, then I know that they're telling the truth. If I don't, then I know that they're full of shit. That's exactly what I'm going to be looking for. So while you over here selling that bullshit, you know, selling wolf tickets to the fan base out there, to the hundreds of thousands, I think millions now, to those people, they're gonna get out there and buy that, and then they're gonna play it like you say you're gonna play it, and then they're going to get jacked off. You know what I'm saying? Not jacked off, but I mean, jacked up. It's getting tired, man. I got to get ready to go to work.
Yeah, that just hit a whole other level.
I got to go to work. Got to go work about 5 hours, man. But I'm just, going in the day. But anyway, getting jacked up. And shit. Show's over, guys. Fuck this shit. Let's get out of here. I gotta do the multiplayer tomorrow, and I'll be back to rare form tomorrow night.
Oh my god.
Hey, I do have J.Twitch. He handed me a 3-month Xbox Live code to give out tonight. You guys can check out his Twitch channel below. He does these kind of giveaways like all the time when he streams. He doesn't have a lot of subscribers, so he's hoping to get some subscribers. Go there and tell him you heard him through Crapgamer or Mooch or Xbox Nation or whoever. If you want a 3-month code, I don't know what's a good way to do this. I don't even hell if I know. Let me think.
Shoot, trying to think. It's always hard to give a code out like that.
I know, but hey, while you guys are all here and we still have like 400 watching, hit the like button. How about that?
Hey, listen, while Crap's thinking of that, I want everyone in the chat to take a second. I want you to hit the 1 on your keyboard and enter it if it's Mario, and 2 if it's Mario. Okay?
I better see all ones.
I want to see ones. If you're Italian at all, you gotta hit a 1.
Wait, what is this?
There we go.
1 for Mario,
2 for Mario.
Well, if you guys like me, then you'll just put 2 for Mario anyways.
Oh, that's
there we go. Got it too.
Fair.
Yeah.
Look at those ones, baby.
At least I got 1.
The maniacs are in the house. The maniacs are here.
I know. I see that. Even Fox said it.
Even Fox hit a 1. It's Mario.
Okay. Do we have any jack off maniacs in the house?
People are switching to 2s.
There's a couple of 2s in there.
There's a couple. Timodos.
Those 2s are drunk. Those 2s are drunk.
You're dead to me, Timodos. Come on.
Oh man.
There's Fox. Look at Fox with 222-1111.
Now that we called her out, she's team everyone. That's funny.
That's great. That
See,
Just had to go neutral.
I got people that like me, so they put 2.
Yeah, I think
like
you lost
that
about
check.
50 viewers right after I made that blunder, man. And also you talking to somebody in the chat talking about Tekken, and just all got fucked up after that. So
that's
all right.
guys.
Well, if somebody in the chat just Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I'll give away this thing later, but go ahead and subscribe to j.twitch. I can't think of anything. Maybe we'll give away 2 codes on MNC Mornings.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Tune into MNC Mornings. We'll give away 2 codes, and I also
we'll give away 2.
I've got more Gears codes to give away. So
I had Gears codes as well to give away. I don't know, but let's go ahead and close it out.
Yeah.
Mooch, what do you got going on, bro?
Well, we got Xbox Nation was tonight. I'm so excited about this show. Crossfire on Friday, 6 p.m. We will have Jez and possibly another special guest. Tune in. There's a lot to talk about, and I'm going to put my buddy Jez on the hot seat. I want to talk to Jez from Windows Central, get his opinion on a few things. And then, of course, we've got MNC Mornings. It's a new show that everyone is just enjoying. Grab your coffee, join me and Crap, and join the audience as we take control of the gaming industry. And then we have BGST on Sunday night on Next Gen's channel.
Oh, hell yeah, we do. Governor, what do you got going on?
What's up, man? First off, I'd love being on Xbox Nation with all you guys and K-Mega and everybody. It's a fantastic time. I want to say a big shout out to the community and everything for all the positive feedback on the console corner with a new look and us being live on the webcams and everything. You guys are great. We love you guys. We're going to be, I think I'm doing something with Blam, like a Q&A session this week, Thursday possibly, or tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Tomorrow's Thursday, right? Yeah. I think so.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm all over the place. And then Saturday I'll be on the shop, and Tuesday back on the console corner, and then Xbox Nation again.
Hell yeah, awesome. And She-Wolf, what do you got going on? I'm going to let you completely finish what you got going on, too.
Wow. I feel the love. Crap. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I got, obviously, Twitter and Xbox Live. If you want to follow me, it's XSheWolf, X with a U in Wolf instead of an O. Of course, you can find me on the Console Corner on Tuesdays, where we'll be doing the whole live camera thing and all that fun stuff.
Okay.
Hopefully, I won't be as nervous this time, because I was pretty nervous. But I'm actually going to start live camming on Beam, hopefully starting tomorrow. So we'll see about that, too.
Oh, my gosh.
Why are you laughing?
No,
You said live cam, and I was just went somewhere else.
I did too. But
I'm not a cam girl, and
I
ain't
get
one
it.
of those live cam people.
Here's your
what's
Twitch starter
going on? What's going on this Saturday
Well,
on
hey,
Game
at least
Night?
I can make some money. You know? Just saying.
I ain't mad at that. I'm fine with it.
Hey, but hold on. What game are you guys playing this Saturday on Game Night?
Great question.
Yeah,
Do we not know yet?
I was gonna attempt Doom for Halloween.
Boom.
Doom. We haven't done that yet.
No,
Boom.
we haven't. But every time we do, something goes horribly wrong.
It does.
So
That's
I was
true.
trying to, like,
The
hold
curse
off
of
on-
Doom.
I was trying to hold off on saying it till like Friday night or something. But I guess we'll do
Titanfall
Doom
2?
for.
Oh.
Titanfall 2.
No, we'll do Doom for community game time. So it'll be Saturday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Everyone on Xbox Live is welcome. So.
Oh, hell yeah. That's going to be a lot of fun. Hellhammer, what do you got going on? Nothing. So
Just Twitter, and I'll be back on here next week. So I have a more clear schedule, so I'll be able to actually make it to the podcast.
All right.
Oh yeah, those Hellhammer maniacs, all 5 of them are gonna be.
Oh yeah, I know.
to keep update with that.
They were down in the dumps, bro.
I know, right? And K Mega, man, I appreciate you coming in here on short notice. You nailed it, man. You did a great job. I appreciate you coming in here and giving your opinion and everything. So thank you. What do you got going on, bro?
Oh, I thought you was just cutting me off. Like, get his
Nah,
motherfucking
man.
ass out of here, man.
No.
He killed it.
All that
No, he only does that to me.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
man, thank you. Hey, K-Mac. Good night, everybody. Yeah, man. It was like, oh, man. Yeah, so thank everybody for having me on, man. Or, well, Crap having me on. And thanks for me being on the panel. It's been awesome. And thank you, everybody in the chat. You know what I'm saying? You have now witnessed a great time with K Mega and the Jack Off Hour. We are all right. I think that is going to stick because I've seen it like 10 times. So, but no, big shout out to my crew, Intro Media Gaming. Check those people out at intromediagaming.com. I do the multiplayer with Next Gen and Barney Rubble 77 and countless others over there. You know what I'm saying? My boy all day. That's tomorrow night. That's tomorrow night. Checking on Next Gen's channel. I got the next podcast that I do on Saturdays with Xbox 448. Man, I love that panel, man. That's my family. And then I do BGST, man, my new family, man, and it's awesome to be around these guys, man. Yeah, I am busy, and always I got to give a shout out to my boy B Shadows and Rain. Always, you know what I'm saying. If it wasn't for him, B Shadows helping me building my PC, I'd probably be like you, Crap, just assed out, man, just in a bad position. So.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Everybody kicked ass tonight. We had like 475 watching us at a high tonight.
Oh, hold on. I have to say this because I'm being yelled at in the chat about it.
Okay.
Ladies' night is next week, but it's going to be on Thursday night instead of Monday because of Halloween. So.
Oh, okay. Are
Just
you
letting
like?
everybody know.
Is there a lot of people dressing up and stuff?
Maybe.
For what? What? For ladies' night?
Yeah, I mean Halloween. Aren't you guys doing a Halloween thing?
Well, that's on Tuesday. We're going to do a Halloween special for Console
gotcha.
Corner.
Gotcha. Well, GKB, what are you going to be?
The governor. Hello.
Nice.
That makes sense. What are you going to be, She-Wolf?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Well, always like waiting the last minute is the best thing to do, in my opinion. So,
Yep. That's what I do best.
we will catch you guys next week. Again, tune in, subscribe to all these people, and watch all their podcasts. Really great panel. Yeah, it's really good stuff, man. And 2.5 hours almost flew by. Thank you guys. Rack 'em up. And the PS4 Pro, it does just a
little mo.
Hell
Exactly.
no. Send that shit to
Hell to the no.